Chapter 4250. As I said, there is nothing in this world that I don't dare to do. The inner demons looked at Dong Tianqin's soul with murderous intent in his eyes and slapped at Dong Tianqin's soul. It seemed that at this moment, Dong Hanzong's eyes flashed with a smile, and it was clearly caught by Lu Jiajin, who had been paying attention to him. Interesting, Lu Jiajin muttered. The look in his eyes was also thought-provoking. Looking at Dong Tianqin again. Seeing the inner demons coming, his soul suddenly left his body and ran towards Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin. He had been shocked by the means of the inner demons. This was a cruel and merciless lord. However, the inner demons suddenly stopped and looked at Dong Tianqin playfully, saying, "Look at you. I thought you were not afraid of death." Dong Tianqin hid behind Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin, trembling. Seeing the inner demons stop, Dong Qin could not help but breathe a sigh of relief, but Dong Hanzong seemed to be a little disappointed. The inner demons turned to look at Dong Tianqin's body. His head had been broken, leaving only a headless corpse. The scene was bloody and shocking. Whoosh! Suddenly, a stream of light flashed out of his broken head and rushed towards Dong Tianqin like lightning. This was a space divine object. Obviously, Dong Tianqin had already seen through the purpose of the inner demons, so he took the first step and controlled the space divine object to return to his side. Because the monarch was imprisoned in this space divine object at the moment, he could not let the inner demons get the space divine object. Otherwise, he would lose the only bargaining chip in his hand. But in this regard, the inner demon smiled disdainfully, stepped forward, intercepted the space divine object, released his divine thoughts, and directly crushed the blood contract inside the space divine object. Immediately after, the inner demons dripped blood to recognize the monarch. When the recognition was successful, he immediately released the monarch from the space divine object. "Thank you for saving my life, little brother." The monarch looked around and bowed to the inner demons. "Don't thank me. I didn't want to save you at all. If you want to thank someone, thank my brother. He is a good person." The inner demons sneered. "How cold." The monarch smiled bitterly and turned to Lu Jiajin. He cupped his hands and said, "Thank you, Brother Lu. I also wish for the peace of the divine kingdom." Lu Jiajin waved his hand. "Father, little Wang, big brother." At the same time, Heavenly Lord Ji, Ji Yunhai, Boss Ji, and a group of elders also quickly surrounded the Overlord with concern on their faces. They surrounded the Overlord and protected him. "I'm fine." The king waved his hand. The inner demons grabbed the space divine item and exerted force with their 5 fingers. With a loud clang, the space divine item shattered on the spot. They then looked at Dong Tianqin and said playfully, "Do you want to continue?" Dong Tianqin remained silent, but the resentment on his face was clearly visible. The inner demon said, "If you don't want to continue, then kneel and apologize. Don't go too far." Dong Tianqin roared. He had already released the monarch, yet he still wanted him to kneel down and apologize. "You're the one who's going too far." Jijio stepped forward and blocked the entrance of the galaxy. He looked at Dong Tianqin and said, "If you don't give us a satisfactory explanation today, don't even think about leaving here." "What? You still want to kill me?" Dong Tianqin sneered. "What's the harm in killing you?" Jijio was furious. He activated his 3,000 incarnations and unleashed all kinds of ultimate arcana. His terrifying power shook the universe. "You're courting death. Do you know who I am? Do you know how powerful my family is? If you dare to touch me, the purple gold divine dragon clan will disappear from the 4 great continents in less than half a year." Dong Tianqin sneered. There were 2 reasons why he was afraid of the inner demons and Lu Jiajin. The first reason was that they were powerful and ruthless. The second reason, which was also the most important reason, was that they were now favored by the emperor. Even if he had a powerful backer, he wouldn't dare to challenge the emperor. However, the purple gold divine dragon clan was just one of the 4 great continents. There were only a few dozen experts who had grasped the will of the heavenly path. Therefore, he looked down on the purple gold divine dragon clan from the bottom of his heart. Good, good, good. Let me see how your family will take revenge on us in the future. Heavenly Lord, protect your father." Everyone else, follow me and kill him. Jiju shouted. Boom. All the elders activated their 3,000 incarnations, including Ji Yunhai. Streaks of ultimates gathered in the sky, emitting an aura that could destroy the world. Even the inner demons and Lu Jiajin couldn't help but feel their scalps go numb. Not counting Ji Yunhai, just these 15 elders. Each of them activated 3,000 incarnations, which meant there were 45,000 incarnations. And each incarnation could activate 8 ultimate arcanas. There were more than 300,000 ultimate arcanas here, and they all carried the will of the heavenly path. One could imagine how terrifying it was. Dong Tianxin was scared out of his wits. He didn't expect these old things to be so crazy. Dong Hanzong transmitted his voice. Dong Tianxin, you'd better apologize to the monarch quickly. Otherwise, you'll be the one to suffer if you anger these elders. That's right. If this matter blows up, it won't do you any good, because it's indeed you who was in the wrong first. Even if the monarch is alarmed, he might not side with you. Dong Qin also hurriedly persuaded. Dong Tianxin's face was gloomy. I'll ask you one last time. Kneel or not? Ji Laosher's hair fluttered in the wind like a furious lion. His loud voice exploded in Dong Tianxin's mind like thunder, shaking his divine soul to the point that it was about to collapse. Plop. At this moment, his legs went soft, and he knelt in the river of stars. He was very unwilling, but there was no other way. These elders were too powerful. That was what he was worried about previously. If he imprisoned the monarch, the purple gold divine dragon clan would still be wary of him. But once the monarch escaped, the purple gold divine dragon clan would be like a wild horse that had escaped its reins. If he didn't kneel, he didn't dare to imagine the consequences of facing these angry elders. Apologize, Ji Laosher said. I'm sorry. Dong Tianxin lowered his head and endured the humiliation in his heart as he spoke. Don't you have a name? Also, do you think you can just say I'm sorry? Ji Laosher shouted angrily. Dong Tianxin's body trembled as he lowered his head and said, Monarch, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been disrespectful to you. Please forgive me. It's you, not you. Didn't your parents teach you to respect the old and love the young? Ji Laosher shouted angrily. Dong Tianxin clenched his fists and shouted, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been disrespectful to you. Please forgive me. This was the greatest humiliation of his life. He would never forget this moment for the rest of his life. He bore a grudge against everyone present. He silently swore in his heart that he would take revenge for today's humiliation in the future. Haha, how satisfying. This is even better than killing him directly. Black Tortoise World. The white-eyed wolf laughed. An unparalleled genius of the Central Dynasty was actually forced to this point. It's a pity that I didn't see it with my own eyes. Frenzy's face was also filled with schadenfreude. At this moment, they were communicating with the Divine King, the monarch, and the human race sovereign. All of this was naturally told to them by the three of them. Qin Feiyang looked at the monarch and said with concern, Dong Tianxin has already paid the corresponding price. Don't be too angry. Why should I be angry? Now I feel very comfortable in my heart. The monarch chuckled. Qin Feiyang asked, then where are they now? After it ended, Dong Tianxin left alone. I don't know where he went. Dong Hanzong, Dong Qin, Lu Yuntian, and Lu Yunfeng are still in my purple gold divine dragon clan. The monarch said. Left alone? Qin Feiyang and the other two were stunned. Was this person not afraid of death? Didn't he know that there was someone from Muqing around them who could spy on his location? The Divine King's eyes flashed with killing intent as he said, We were in a hurry to contact you because we wanted to tell you this news. Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other and nodded with a smile. We know what to do. Okay, you guys deal with it as you see fit. After the Divine King finished speaking, he was about to turn off the Divine Sound Stone. Wait a moment. But the monarch suddenly stopped the Divine King. The Divine King and the human race sovereign looked at him in confusion. The monarch looked at Qin Feiyang with a thoughtful look. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but have a trace of doubt in his heart. He said, If you have any questions, just ask. The monarch said, I suddenly remembered that you seemed to have said before that the owner of the Eye of Nothingness seemed to be your cousin. Hmm? The Divine King and the human race sovereign were stunned. It seemed that there was indeed such a thing. Huh. Qin Feiyong didn't react for a moment. The madman and the white-eyed wolf were the same. You did say that back then. You also said that the owner of the Eye of Oblivion was your sister. The monarch said. Qin Feiyong quivered and hurriedly concealed the guilt on his face. He said, I did say the Eye of Oblivion, the Eye of Reincarnation, and the Eye of Destruction, but did I say the Eye of Nothingness? Did you remember wrongly? Remembered wrongly? The monarch pondered for a while. His face darkened as he glared at Qin Feiyong and said, Do you think I'm an old fool? How could I remember such important information wrongly? But I really didn't say that, Qin Feiyong said. No, no, no. You did say that. The Divine King and the human race sovereign pondered for a moment and also looked at Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong was stunned. These people's memory was too good. If the monarch hadn't suddenly mentioned this matter, even he would have forgotten about it. The owner of the Eye of Nothingness is your big cousin, and Lu Yunfeng now has the Eye of Nothingness. Could it be? The monarch's eyes lit up. The Divine King and the human race sovereign finally reacted, their faces full of shock. That, Qin Feiyong stammered. Kid, you guys are not honest. How could you hide such an important matter from us? I was wondering why you guys knew so much about the Central Dynasty. It turns out that he was the one who tipped you guys off. The monarch looked at Qin Feiyong and the other two with displeasure. Dong Hanzong wanted to kill with a borrowed knife. The monarch thought of the owner of the Eye of Nothingness and wondered if it was Lu Jiajin. Chapter 42:51. Qin Feiyong let out a dry laugh. You're still laughing? Do you think I won't teach you a lesson? The monarch's veins bulged. These brats are really asking for a beating. I'm just waiting for the right time to give you a surprise. Qin Feiyong let out a mocking laugh. The monarch rolled his eyes and asked, If Lu Yunfeng is your cousin, then what about Lu Yuntian? Lu Yuntian. Cough, cough. He's my inner demons. Qin Feiyong let out a dry cough. Inner demons. The monarch and the other two looked at each other. The Divine King was puzzled. No, I remember you saying that the inner demons and your cousin are dead. Why are they still in the Divine Kingdom and even in the Central Dynasty? It's a long story. I'll tell you later when I have time. The most important thing right now is to deal with Dong Tianqian. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Don't change the topic so quickly. Did you arrange for the appearance of the inner demons and your cousin? The monarch asked. Yes, because we couldn't think of a way to save you. So we asked them to help. Qin Feiyong answered honestly. At least you have a conscience. But let me tell you, if you dare to hide anything from me in the future, I won't let you off. The monarch snorted. I won't. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and smiled apologetically. The monarch rolled his eyes and said, All right then, go and make arrangements. This Dong Tianqian, no matter what, can't be allowed to leave the 4 great continents alive. Understood. Qin Feiyong nodded. After the conversation ended, Qin Feiyong turned to the mad scientist and the white-eyed wolf and asked, Did I tell them about my cousin's Eye of Void? Yes. Moreover, the monarch and the others have also come to the Black Tortoise world and have inquired about our situation in the past. Regarding Lu Jiajin's situation, they must have heard something. Madman said. I was too careless. Qin Feiyong shook his head and smiled bitterly. The surprise he was prepared for was gone, and he even got smacked. What a loss. Speaking of which, does this Dong Tianqian really look down on us? You actually dared to leave the purple gold divine dragon clan alone. The white-eyed wolf frowned. Do you think he wants to leave? He is too ashamed to continue staying in the purple gold divine dragon clan. Madman sneered. Plotting against the monarch meant offending the entire purple gold divine dragon clan. Even if Dong Tianqian wanted to stay, the purple gold divine dragon clan would not allow it. Therefore, he might as well leave on his own. Otherwise, he would be expelled by the purple gold divine dragon clan. That would be even more humiliating. Let's go. Go and find Mu Qing. Qin Feiyong waved his hand. Daring to plot against the monarch, this matter would not end so easily. Mu Qing and Mu Tianyang's courtyard. In the hall, Mu Qing activated his all-seeing eye and didn't say a word the entire time. Did you find him? Say something. Don't keep quiet for so long. Madman looked at Mu Qing and said angrily. Don't rush him. Qin Feiyong comforted Madman. After a while, Mu Qing finally reacted. He looked at Qin Feiyong and the other two and said, this person seems to have gone to the East Continent. Seems? The three of them were stunned. Why was it so ambiguous? Mu Qing said, he is now in a strange sea area, but I have never been to this place, so I'm not sure if it is the East Continent. Sea area. The three of them looked at each other and lowered their heads to ponder. It seemed that only the East Continent had sea areas in the Divine Kingdom. He has been in a hurry. It seems that he is going somewhere. Mu Qing spoke again. In a hurry? When Qin Feiyong and the other two heard this, they couldn't help but tremble. They said in unison, he is going back to the Central Dynasty. Back to the Central Dynasty? Then isn't he going to call for help? Mu Qing was surprised. It must be so. After suffering such a great humiliation in the four great continents this time, he will definitely not let it go. Qin Feiyong's eyes flickered. This person was definitely a big problem. He looked at Mu Qing and said, don't be in a hurry to cultivate in seclusion. Accompany us to find him. Okay. Mu Qing nodded. It can't be. Dong Tianshan's physical body has been destroyed. He can't enter the East Continent so quickly. But suddenly, Madman frowned. The Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan's territory was in the hinterland of the North Continent. The distance between the North Continent and the East Continent was quite far because the North Continent and the East Continent were equivalent to two independent continents, and Dong Tianshan's physical body had been destroyed, so he couldn't open a space-time passage, let alone use the instant time. The fastest he could go was normal. How could Dong Tianshan cross the East Continent and enter the sea region from the hinterland of the North Continent in such a short time? Mu Qing said, someone helped him. Who? Madman was slightly taken aback and asked suspiciously, it seems to be someone from the sea race. Mu Qing said, someone from the sea race? Didn't the monarch say that Dong Tianshan left alone? Why is someone from the sea race involved? Madman frowned. Dong Tianshan is not stupid. His physical body has been destroyed, so it will be extremely difficult for him to return to the Central Dynasty alone. And the people of the sea race hate us to the bone. Coupled with Dong Tianshan's identity and status, as long as Dong Tianshan opens his mouth and promises enough benefits, there will naturally be many people willing to escort him back. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. He immediately left the Black Tortoise world with the three of them, opened a space-time passage, and descended on the Sea God's Island. The Sea God's Island no longer existed. The remaining survivors of the sea race didn't dare to rebuild the Sea God's Island, so it was now a boundless ocean that roared with great waves. Mu Qing kept her heavenly eye open to check Dong Tianshan's location. She scanned the surrounding sea region and finally looked ahead and said, chase in a straight line. Qin Feiyong had 2 levels of heavenly Dao intent. As long as he used the instant time, he would definitely be able to catch up to Dong Tianshan. However, Qin Feiyong didn't chase directly. Instead, he took out a divine sound transmission stone and sent a message to Lu Jiajin. But, after waiting for a while, Lu Jiajin didn't reply. What's wrong? Madman and the other two looked at him in confusion. I want to ask cousin about the situation, but he didn't reply. Qin Feiyong helplessly put away the divine sound transmission stone. Maybe it's not convenient now, Madman said. Okay, we'll chase first. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and swept the 3 of them into the depths of the sea. These sea race members don't know what's good for them. Looks like I have to find a chance to get rid of them all. Madman's eyes flashed with killing intent. It's not impossible to get rid of them all. However, did you notice a problem? Qin Feiyong pondered. What problem? Madman and the other 2 looked at him in confusion. Dong Tianshan wants to return to the Central Dynasty. Don't Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin know about this? Even if Dong Tianshan didn't tell them, they should have thought of it when they saw Dong Tianshan leave alone. because apart from the central dynasty, Dong Tianchen has no other way out. But why didn't the two of them help him? Not to mention anything else, at least they can escort him back. After all, with Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin's strength, it's safer for him to be escorted by them than by the sea race. Qin Feiyang said. This problem. It's indeed a little thought-provoking. Madman and the other two nodded. They traveled as fast as lightning. Along the way, they encountered many sea beasts. But in the four continents, who didn't know Qin Feiyang and the others? Who didn't know Qin Feiyang and the others? Even those remote places and small villages knew of their existence. So, none of the sea beasts dared to block the way. Not only did they not dare to block the way, but when they saw Qin Feiyang and the others, they immediately fled as if they were running for their lives. At the same time, in the sky above the sea, this sea was completely different from the sea where Qin Feiyang and the others were now. Although the sea where Qin Feiyang and the others were now, although the waves were rolling, the sky was blue and cloudless. But here, it was dark and gloomy. The roaring storm and the rolling waves were even more terrifying. It was a young man in a golden robe with several pairs of golden wings on his back. He activated the moment of time and brought Dong Tianchen along as he sped through the air like a bolt of lightning. Hai Zidong, faster, Dong Tianchen urged, his eyes slightly gloomy. My lord, what's wrong? The young man called Hai Zidong looked at him suspiciously. I have an uneasy feeling, Dong Tianchen said in a deep voice. An uneasy feeling? Hai Zidong was stunned and said with a smile, You must be mistaken. I hope so, Dong Tianchen murmured. But suddenly, his eyes trembled and he shouted, Oh no, I forgot about him. What? Hai Zidong was startled again. The owner of the all-seeing eye, Mu Qing. If Qin Feiyang knows that I return to the central dynasty alone, they will definitely hunt me down, Dong Tianchen said in a deep voice. That's impossible. At that time, Qin Feiyang wasn't in the territory of the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan. Besides, when you came to me and asked me to take you back to the central dynasty, no one saw you. Hai Zidong was shocked. I can't be careless. Anything can happen to Qin Feiyang, Dong Tianchen said. Hai Zidong panicked when he heard this and said anxiously, Then what should I do? Now, this is already my maximum speed. Dong Tianchen scanned the surroundings and muttered, I hope I'm just overthinking things. Bastard, wait until I return to the central dynasty and reconstruct my body. I'll definitely bring people here to slaughter Qin Feiyang and those bastards. And the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan, Hai Zidong said. Yes, the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan, the Divine King, the Supreme of the human race, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qin, Lu Yunfeng, and Lu Yuntian. I won't let them have an easy time. Dong Tianchen nodded, his eyes filled with murderous intent. You're indeed ruthless. Hai Zidong murmured with a fawning expression and asked, What about the thing you promised me? Don't worry, as long as you take me back to the central dynasty. I promise to give you a few successions and let you master the will of the heavenly Tao. You might even have a chance to avenge your father and your clan. Dong Tianchen said, Thank you, master. Hai Zidong was overjoyed. He tried even harder to bring Dong Tianchen back to the central dynasty. Chapter 42-52. Wang. About an hour later, Qin Feiyang's sound transmission divine stone rang. Taking it out, it was Lu Jiajin. He quickly stopped and activated the sound transmission divine stone. Lu Jiajin's figure appeared, smiling. I was with Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin, so it wasn't convenient to talk to you. Is there something you need from me? And Qin Feiyang nodded. Where's the inner demons? He's still with Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin. Lu Jiajin smiled. Is that so? Qin Feiyang finally understood. We're chasing after Dong Tianchen. So we wanted to ask you about the situation. So fast? Lu Jiajin was stunned. To be honest, it's the Monarchs group that's fast. If they didn't send me a message, I wouldn't have known that Dong Tianchen had left by himself. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. So, it's like that. It seems like Dong Tianchen's actions have thoroughly enraged the Monarchs group. Lu Jiajin shook his head and laughed. This Dong Tianchen was so silly that he was cute. According to Mu Qing's piercing heaven eye, there's a Sea tribe member escorting Dong Tianqian back to the Central Dynasty, so we want to intercept them. But we don't know much about the situation in this sea, so we wanted to ask you, Qin Feiyang said. Lu Jiajin nodded. Last time in the Black Tortoise world, I told you that there's a sea between the 4 continents and the Central Dynasty. This sea is called the Taboo Sea, and the Taboo Sea has its own restrictions. You can't open a space-time transmission channel or use voice transmissions. Taboo Sea. Qin Feiyang's group of 4 exchanged a glance. If I'm not mistaken, Dong Tianqian should have entered the Taboo Sea by now. But don't worry, even if Dong Tianqian has already entered the Taboo Sea, you can still catch up to him because crossing the Taboo Sea to reach the Central Dynasty will take at least a month. In a situation where you can't open a space-time transmission channel, with your 2 heavenly Daos, you can crush them in speed. Lu Jiajin smiled. That's good. Qin Feiyang heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he could catch up, it was fine. How about this? I'll give you a set of coordinates, and you can directly teleport to the outside of the Taboo Ocean. At that time, it will be easier to catch up to them. After saying that, Lu Jiajin gave him a set of coordinates. These are the coordinates I want. Qin Feiyang was overjoyed. There's one more thing. Dong Hanzong is not a simple person. Maybe I can make use of it. Lu Jiajin's eyes glowed. Dong Hanzong? The 4 of them exchanged glances and looked at Lu Jiajin suspiciously. That's right. According to my observations, this Dong Hanzong is an extremely ambitious and calculative person. Back then, he wanted to use the inner demons to get rid of Dong Tianqian. Furthermore, when Boss Ji and the others announced that they were going to kill Dong Tianqian, he was also very excited. He even stopped Dong Qin from helping Dong Tianqian. Lu Jiajin said, I see. Previously, we were still discussing why Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin did not escort Dong Tianqian back to the Central Dynasty. It turns out that they each have their own ulterior motives. The white-eyed wolf bared his teeth. Therefore, if we can make use of this Dong Hanzong, he will be of great help to us. Of course, in the future, he will definitely be a big problem. Because this kind of person is the most terrifying. They are capable of doing anything. Lu Jiajin said. Indeed. Qin Feiyang nodded. All right, you guys go and hunt down Dong Tianqian first. The inner demons and I also have a few things to deal with. Lu Jiajin smiled. What is it? Qin Feiyang looked at him in confusion. First of all, there is a huge force behind Dong Tianqian. We have to investigate this force thoroughly. And Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin's background. The other thing, to put it bluntly, is to stir up trouble. Lu Jiajin smiled. Stir up trouble? Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. Why was it getting more and more confusing? By stirring up trouble, we are using Dong Tianqian's matter to build momentum. Not long ago, Dong Tianqian was arrogant and unscrupulous in the Purple Gold Divine Dragon clan. He even publicly said that the creatures of the 4 continents are trash. His words have already angered everyone. Therefore, we have to take advantage of this and let this matter continue to blow up. It will be best if it reaches the point where the 4 continents and the Central Dynasty are at odds. In this way, when the future monarch and the others declare war on the Central Dynasty, the creatures of the 4 continents will naturally join the monarch and the others to deal with the Central Dynasty. Lu Jiajin smiled. No way. Dong Tianqian dares to say something like that? Qin Feiyang and the others were shocked. Wasn't this deliberately provoking a war between the 4 continents and the Central Dynasty? What a useless teammate. No. For them, Dong Tianqian was a godly assistant, because this was a great opportunity in front of them. He has also lost his mind. In fact, he is quite a scary person when he is calm. For example, when he was facing the 3,000 incarnations in Qingtian City, he deliberately acted weak and avoided the 3,000 incarnations to mislead you into thinking that the 3,000 incarnations could break his god-killing domain. But in fact, it didn't work at all. Because the inner demons couldn't break the god-killing domain even after activating the Demon King true form and the 7 laws. Lu Jiajin shook his head. This, Qin Feiyang and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Dong Tianqian to be so smart. Mu Qing had been in seclusion and didn't know much about Dong Tianqian, so she didn't say anything. So, whether it's Dong Tianqian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qin, or Dong Xian, we can't underestimate them. There's another situation. Did the monarch and the others tell you? Even their 5 domains have a time limit. They can only be activated once a day for an hour each time. Lu Jiajin smiled. Time limit? The 4 of them looked at each other. They really didn't expect this. The monarch and the others didn't mention this before. They should have been busy dealing with other things and neglected this point. After knowing this, you should know how to deal with them in the future. Lu Jiajin asked with a smile, and Qin Feiyang nodded. All right, let's split up. Lu Jiajin turned off the divine sound stone. Qin Feiyang also put away the divine sound stone. His eyes flashed coldly as he opened a space-time tunnel. The 4 of them stepped into it, one after another. The next moment, they arrived in the sky above an unfamiliar sea. In front of them, huge waves were rolling and the wind was howling. The sky was also covered with dark clouds. Looking at it, the entire sea was dark and filled with a heavy aura. Looking at the sky above them, it was clear and boundless. It was a completely different world. We really saved a lot of time. Madman bared his teeth. Let's go. They shouldn't have escaped far. I also want to see who from the Sea Clan dares to go against us. Qin Feiyang swept up the 4 of them and activated momentary time, entering the sea in front of them like lightning. The moment they entered the sea, they immediately sensed an invisible rule force oppressing them. Madman tried. He really couldn't open a space-time tunnel and couldn't activate the divine sound stone. Moreover, the roaring storm above the sea also contained extremely terrifying lethality. Ordinary creatures couldn't step into this place at all. The ruler of the Divine Kingdom shouldn't have thought that the rule force protecting the Central Dynasty would become an accomplice to Dong Tianqian's death. White-Eyed Wolf laughed. Without the rule force, Dong Tianqian could have used the space-time tunnel to directly teleport to the boundary between the Central Dynasty and the 4 continents. As long as he reached the boundary, stepping into the territory of the Central Dynasty was just a step away. Who could kill him? This is the unpredictable world. Madman snickered. However, they didn't know. Just as they disappeared into the depths of the sea, several sea beasts emerged from the water and stared at the direction where Qin Feiyang and the other 3 disappeared. Their huge eyes flashed with a fierce light. Not long after, roar. In the depths of the taboo ocean, a sea beast rushed out of the sea and set off huge waves in front of Hai Zidong and Dong Tianqian. It was a sea turtle. Its body was hundreds of feet long, like a mountain, exuding a terrifying aura. And Hai Zidong was shocked. But Dong Tianqian was very calm and shouted, "You dare to block my way? Don't misunderstand. This king is not here to stop you. This king is here to tell you that my companions have sent news." Qin Feiyang, Golden-Winged Wolf King, Madman Imo, and Mu Qing have also entered the taboo ocean. The sea turtle said with a loud and sonorous voice, showing that its strength wasn't weak. What? They really came? Hai Zidong's face changed when he heard this. Dong Tianqian's face also sank. The thing that he was worried about really happened. Why are these bastards so persistent? Their speed is very fast. You can't escape at all. So quickly find a way to escape. After the sea turtle finished speaking, it prepared to dive into the sea and leave. Wait, Dong Tianqian hurriedly shouted. What's wrong? The sea turtle looked at him suspiciously. Help me. As long as you can help me escape, I will definitely repay you. There was no other way. His body was destroyed. Hai Zidong hadn't grasped the will of heaven, so it was impossible for him to be a match for Qin Feiyang and the other 3. So he could only ask the sea turtle for help. Impossible. This king can't afford to offend these people. Coming to inform you now is already giving face to the Central Dynasty. This king will not take the risk for you. This king also believes that there is no sea beast in the taboo ocean that is willing to be enemies with Qin Feiyang for you. The sea turtle shook its head and directly dived into the sea and disappeared. Don't go. As long as you help me, no matter what you want, I will agree. Dong Tianqian anxiously shouted. It's useless. Now in the 4 great continents, except for a reckless person like me, who dares to go against Qin Feiyang and the others? Hai Zedong panicked and his face was full of regret. That's right. He already regretted helping Dong Tianxin. If he knew that Qin Feiyang and the others would come to kill Dong Tianxin, he wouldn't have gotten involved in this mess even if he was beaten to death. What do you mean? You want to leave me and escape alone? Dong Tianxin stared at Hai Zedong gloomily. No, no. Hai Zedong hurriedly waved his hand to hide his guilty conscience. Chapter 42:53. What kind of eyesight did Dong Tianxin have? He could tell at a glance that Hai Zedong was lying. If it was in the past, if he dared to lie to him like this, he would definitely not show mercy. But it was different now. Although Hai Zedong's strength was not very good, he was the only person he could rely on now. Don't worry. As long as you follow me obediently, I will definitely not treat you badly. When we return to the Central Dynasty, I will not only let you master the will of heaven, but also give you a high-level dominator weapon. Dong Tianxin increased the price again. The will of heaven and a high-level dominator weapon. For someone like Hai Zedong, it was a great temptation. Thank you, Lord. Hai Zedong's face was filled with gratitude. However, in his heart, he did not care. If he lost his life, then what was the use of the will of heaven and a high-level dominator weapon? But Dong Tianxin's identity made him very afraid. What should he do? He really did not want to face Qin Feiyang and the others. In his eyes, Qin Feiyang and the others were like demons. Let's continue on our way. There must be a way, Dong Tianxin said. All right. Hai Zedong nodded and swept up Dong Tianxin, activating the momentary time and breaking through the sky like lightning. But in his heart, he had been pondering. In this situation, what other way could he have? Qin Feiyang had mastered 2 wills of heaven and was several times faster than him. Sooner or later, he would catch up with them. When it was time, Qin Feiyang and the others saw that he was escorting Dong Tianxin back to the Central Dynasty, so they would definitely not be polite to him. Wait. Suddenly, Hai Zedong's eyes flashed. Although Dong Tianxin was strong, now that his physical body was destroyed, he was equivalent to a cripple. Such a person, not to mention Qin Feiyang and the others, even he could easily deal with him. Otherwise, betrayal at the last minute? An idea crawled up in his mind. That was to take down Dong Tianxin and hand him over to Qin Feiyang to make up for his mistakes. Moreover, in this way, not only would Qin Feiyang not blame him, he might even reward him. Qin Feiyang had an independent world, and Long Chun had the ability to deprive others of precepts. Previously, the 19 sea gods, sky rocks, and hundreds of thousands of core members of the Sea Clan had lost their ultimate precepts because of this. In other words, currently, Qin Feiyang had a large number of ultimate profound inheritances in his hands. As long as he handed Dong Tianxin over to him, even if he didn't reward him, Qin Feiyang wouldn't be so stingy that he wouldn't give Dong Tianxin some ultimate Upanishads. After all, Dong Tianxin's value far exceeded a few ultimate intent inheritances. With this thought in mind, killing intent rose in Hai Zedong's heart. However, following closely, there seemed to be a voice in his heart that was stopping him. Qin Feiyang is the enemy of the Sea Tribe. If you run to him to take credit and flatter him, are you worthy of the dead clansman? As the little prince of the sea race, how could you not take revenge for the extermination of your race? This was the voice in Hai Zedong's heart. That's right. He was the little prince of the Sea Tribe, the youngest son of Neptune. This identity was not ordinary. However, this voice in his heart made him very conflicted. Qin Feiyang, Madman Imo, Golden-Winged Wolf King, they are all so strong. How do you want me to take revenge? If my father was still alive, then I would be a high and mighty prince. But now, without my father's protection, I am just a pitiful worm who has not even grasped the will of the heavens. No, I am just a stray dog. What can I use to fight them? It's already not easy for me to be alive now. Shut up. You are the prince of the Sea Tribe. How can you say such ambitious words? I am telling the truth. With my strength, any random person can easily crush me to death. Right now, I just want to live. Because only by living can I have the chance to become stronger and revitalize the Sea Tribe. 2 different voices were constantly arguing in his heart. It made him very conflicted. What are you thinking? Are you getting slower and slower? Dong Tianxin's voice suddenly sounded. Hai Zedong quivered and came back to his senses. Only then did he realize that his speed had unknowingly slowed down by half. Let me tell you, you better not have any thoughts. Dong Tianxin's gaze was extremely unfriendly. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Hai Zedong hurriedly waved his hand. His speed quickly increased to the limit. Dong Tianxin comforted him. Don't think so much. There is a good saying that the heavens will always leave a way out. We will definitely have a way out. But in his heart, there was still a sentence that he did not say out loud. That was, if there was no way out, then he would use you as a scapegoat. Yes, yes, yes. Hai Zedong nodded repeatedly. It was obvious that he was being perfunctory. Trash. You still want to grasp the will of the heavens? Stop dreaming. When we return to the Central Dynasty, I will kill you. Seeing Hai Zedong's performance, a trace of killing intent flashed in Dong Tianxin's eyes. Such a person was not even qualified to carry his shoes. He thought that he had concealed the killing intent in his heart very well, but he did not know that Hai Zedong had already sensed it. You actually want to kill me? Hai Zedong clenched his fists. In his heart, he was instantly angry. At the risk of offending Qin Feiyang and the others, sending you back to the Central Dynasty in exchange for repaying kindness with enmity? What inheritance of the ultimate profound? What will of the heavens? What superior dominator divine weapon? It turned out that it was just nonsense to fool him. Originally, Hai Zedong was still hesitating. But Dong Tianxin's killing intent helped him make the decision. Even if this person was successfully sent back to the Central Dynasty, he would still die. It was better to take a gamble and hand this person over to Qin Feiyang and the others. Thinking of this, a cold light flashed in his eyes. He made a prompt decision and turned around to slap Dong Tianxin's divine soul. It could be seen that he was also a vicious and merciless person. Dong Tianxin was surprised. How could he have thought that such a change would occur? Because in his view, even if his physical body was destroyed, Hai Zedong would obediently serve him because of his identity and status. He even thought that even if an ant like Hai Zedong was lent 100 guts, he would not dare to have such thoughts. But he never thought that he would actually attack him at this time. How could he prevent this from happening? His divine soul was torn apart on the spot, and a large part of it was obliterated. What are you doing? Dong Tianxin roared. What am I doing? Do you really think I am a fool? Hai Zedong sneered, and the power of law rolled out, condensing into a large barrier, imprisoning Dong Tianxin's remnant soul inside. You. Dong Tianxin was shocked and furious. Such an ant dared to be presumptuous with him? If I didn't feel your killing intent before, I would really believe that when I send you back to the Central Dynasty, you will give me the inheritance of the ultimate profound and superior dominator divine weapon. Hai Zedong grinned. You. Dong Tianxin was shocked. He was actually noticed by this person. Rolling his eyes, he hurriedly explained, Listen to my explanation. My killing intent was not directed at you, but at Qin Feiyang and the others. Directed at Qin Feiyang and the others. Hai Zedong smiled without saying a word. Really, you have to believe me. If you send me back to the Central Dynasty, then you are my benefactor. I can't thank you enough, so why would I be angry at you? Don't worry. When we return to the Central Dynasty, I will definitely fulfill all the conditions I promised you. Dong Tianxin said. Ha ha. Hai Zedong laughed and shook his head. It's too late. I have a better idea. What do you mean? Dong Tianxin couldn't help but panic. I want to hand you over to Qin Feiyang. Hai Zedong sneered. What? Dong Tianxin's eyes trembled as he shook his head. You can't do this. Qin Feiyang is your enemy. If you go and curry favor with him now, what dignity do you have left? Do you think I still need dignity now? Hai Zedong laughed at himself. His dignity had left him the moment the sea race was annihilated. Hai Zedong, my brother. You can't be stupid. Qin Feiyang wiped out the oceanic race. Even if you hand me over to him, he won't let you go, because you are Neptune's son, his future enemy. With Qin Feiyang's ruthless personality, will he allow a future enemy to exist in this world? But I am different. Your father has always been on good terms with the Central Dynasty. As long as you send me back to the Central Dynasty and report to the Emperor, he will definitely regard you highly and nurture you for your father's sake. Dong Tianqin advised earnestly. He didn't expect that a moment of unrestrained killing intent would bring about such consequences. His intestines were green with regret. Couldn't he have held back a little? Why did he have to be so impulsive? In fact, he didn't know that even if he didn't want to kill Hai Zedong, it was only a matter of time before Hai Zedong attacked him. Don't say such nice things to me. Although I am Neptune's son, with my strength, Qin Feiyang and the others won't care about me at all. As long as I perform well, I believe they will be merciful. Moreover, there is still you, the big fish. Compared to you, a peerless genius of the Central Dynasty, I am nothing. Hai Zedong sneered. You are playing with fire. Do you know what will happen to you if this matter is spread to the Central Dynasty? So it's not too late to turn back now. Dong Tianqin roared. Right now, he could only use the Central Dynasty to intimidate Hai Zedong. But at this time, Hai Zedong was completely crazy and didn't want to listen at all. The barrier that imprisoned Dong Tianqin quickly shrank and then sealed Dong Tianqin's remnant soul. Even if I die, it is worth it to have a peerless genius like you as my scapegoat. Immediately, Hai Zedong looked at Dong Tianqin's remnant soul and muttered to himself, then turned around and used the momentary time to return the way he came. Interesting. At the same time, the corner of Mu Qing's mouth lifted slightly, with a trace of playfulness. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at him suspiciously. Mu Qing said, that person from the Sea Clan actually attacked Dong Tianqin. What? Qin Feiyang and the other two were stunned. Attacked Dong Tianqin? Wasn't that a little too daring? Stop, we don't need to go there anymore. Mu Qing waved his hand. Qin Feiyang frowned and stopped in the void, his face full of confusion. Chapter 42-54. About half an hour passed by. So, a figure broke through the air and entered the sight of Qin Feiyang's group of four. It was Hai Zedong. The madman and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other before turning to look at Mu Qing suspiciously. What was going on? Hai Zedong actually took the initiative to come back? He will explain it to you guys. Mu Qing smiled faintly and looked at Qin Feiyang. My mission has been completed. Send me to the Black Tortoise world. Qin Feiyang was stunned for a moment. After sending Mu Qing to the Black Tortoise world, he looked at Hai Zedong who was rushing over. Very quickly, Hai Zedong landed in front of Qin Feiyang's group of three. Golden wings? Looking at the golden wings behind Hai Zedong, the three of them were slightly stunned. It seemed that only Neptune's lineage had golden wings. Could this person be Neptune's descendant? Hai Zedong did not approach Qin Feiyang's group of three. His expression was extremely vigilant. You are? Qin Feiyang asked. My name is Hai Zedong, the little prince of the sea race. Hai Zedong said truthfully, not hiding anything. Little prince? The three of them were stunned. Wasn't this Neptune's son? This was a bit unexpected. I was wondering who had the guts to go against us. So it's Neptune's son. The madman laughed as killing intent flashed in his eyes. I didn't go against you guys. Hai Zedong hurriedly said. You helped Dong Tianqin return to the Central Dynasty. Isn't that going against us? The white-eyed wolf smiled. No. Hai Zedong waved his hand and lowered his head. At first, I did want to help him because he promised me that as long as I sent him back to the Central Dynasty, he would give me a few inheritances and a high-grade sovereign weapon. But I didn't expect him to lie to me. Qin Feiyang's group of three looked at each other. Haha, he definitely lied to you. How could a small fry like you possibly give you these divine items? Besides, even he himself doesn't have a high-grade ruler divine weapon. How could he possibly give you one? Madman sneered. That's why I turned back. After Hai Zedong finished speaking, he took out the sealed remnant soul from the spatial divine item. Hai Zedong, you are courting death. As soon as Dong Tianqin's remnant soul appeared, it roared madly, and its words were filled with hatred. However, Hai Zedong turned a deaf ear to him. He carefully stepped forward and brought Dong Tianqin's remnant soul to Qin Feiyang. So that's what Mu Qing was talking about. Looking at Dong Tianxin's remnant soul, the three of them came to a sudden realization. He instantly had a whole new level of respect for Hai Zidong. He actually dared to attack Dong Tianxin. This kind of courage was not something an ordinary person could possess. I guess I've made up for my mistakes, Hai Zidong asked as he looked at the three of them with trepidation. Madman grabbed Dong Tianxin's remnant soul and laughed. You didn't expect that you would fall into our hands so quickly, right? Dong Tianxin was terrified as he roared. If you have the ability, let me reconstruct my body first and fight one with me. One-on-one? Madman was taken aback for a moment before he was amused. He had already fought with the inner demons. Was there a need to do such a meaningless thing? Moreover, this wasn't a fair competition. Was there a need to go through so much trouble? Qin Feiyang looked at Dong Tianxin's remnant soul and felt a myriad of emotions. He never would have thought that Dong Tianxin would fall into the hands of a small fry like Hai Zidong. The saying that the world was unpredictable was not false at all. And it wasn't too much to say that Hai Zidong was a small fry. Although he was the son of Neptune, whether it was strength or other aspects, he couldn't compare to Qin Feiyang or Dong Tianxin. Immediately, Qin Feiyang turned his head to look at Hai Zidong, his eyes flickering. Hai Zidong was a little flustered. He didn't feel it before, but now, facing Qin Feiyang and the others personally, that invisible sense of oppression made him almost breathless. Even this kind of oppression was stronger than when he faced his father. Say it. What do you want? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Huh. Hai Zidong was taken aback. I don't believe that you will do this without any conditions. Qin Feiyang laughed. Hai Zidong hesitated. There's no harm in saying it. Qin Feiyang spoke again. Looking at the smile on Qin Feiyang's face, Hai Zidong mustered up his courage and bowed. My request is not high. I only hope to master the will of heaven. What? The requirement to master the will of heaven is not high. Madman and White-Eyed Wolf were stunned. This kid's tone was too big. Did he know what the will of heaven meant? Once he had the will of heaven, it was equivalent to standing at the top of the pyramid of the 4 continents and being admired by millions of people. If you think it's too much, just pretend that I didn't say it, Hai Zidong said in a panic. But you have already said it. Madman had a mocking expression. Hai Zidong stuttered, and his face couldn't help but turn pale. To be honest, I admire you a little. In your current situation, if it was someone else, the first thing they would think of would be how to save their own life. But you actually want the will of heaven. White-Eyed Wolf bared his teeth, and his eyes flashed fiercely. I don't want it anymore. I only beg you to let me go. Hai Zidong trembled and quickly said, It's too late. You're Neptune's son. How can we let you leave here alive? Madman's eyes flashed with killing intent. Hai Zidong turned around and ran. Madman took a step forward and chased after him like lightning. He grabbed Hai Zidong's clothes and twisted him back like a little chick. Don't kill me. I don't want to die. Hai Zidong screamed. See, this is the price for betraying me. Dong Tianxin's remnant soul laughed and gloated. But, looking at the struggling Hai Zidong, Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. He suddenly looked at Madman and said with a smile, Senior brother, let him go. Huh. Madman looked at Qin Feiyang with a puzzled expression. What did he mean? Was he really going to let the tiger return to the mountain? White-Eyed Wolf laughed. Even if we let the tiger return to the mountain, he has to be a real tiger first. Hearing this, Madman was stunned for a moment before he laughed and let go of Hai Zidong. Thank you. Hai Zidong said gratefully and was about to turn around and escape. He didn't want to stay in this place for a moment longer. Wait, Qin Feiyang said. Hai Zidong's body stiffened as he slowly turned around to look at Qin Feiyang. His eyes were filled with fear, thinking that Qin Feiyang had changed his mind and wanted to kill him. You don't want the inheritance anymore? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Huh. Hai Zidong looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Madman, White-Eyed Wolf, and Dong Tianxin's remnant soul were the same. What did this mean? Was he really going to give Hai Zidong the inheritance? If you don't want it, then you can leave. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Think about it. Hai Zedong came back to his senses and nodded without hesitation. But soon after, he quickly calmed down and asked, "Do you have any conditions? It seems that you haven't lost your mind because of excitement." Qin Feiyang smiled. Hai Zedong's heart trembled. Sure enough, there were conditions. But thinking about it, they were enemies. Why would others selflessly help him? Then what conditions do you have? As long as it's not exchanging my life, I can agree. After pondering for a while, Hai Zedong asked with a firm gaze. As long as he could grasp the will of heaven, he didn't care about any conditions. "I don't want your life." Qin Feiyang shook his head. But before Hai Zedong could be happy, Qin Feiyang continued, "But I want your fate." Fate? Hai Zedong was stunned. Life and fate are two different things. "I'm not interested in your life, but fate, I can consider it." Qin Feiyang smiled. "Fate," Hai Zedong muttered. Did this mean that he wanted to take the opportunity to control his fate? In other words, was it to make him obey Qin Feiyang in the future? "From now on, you will take me as your master and obey my orders unconditionally. As long as you nod your head now, I will give you the ultimate profound inheritance and let you grasp the will of heaven." Qin Feiyang said. As the son of Neptune, this person still had some value, so it was a pity to kill him. Hai Zedong lowered his head and fell into a dilemma. On one side was the will of heaven, and on the other was fate. How should he choose? If it was someone else, he would definitely agree without hesitation. But now, the man in front of him was a life and death enemy who killed his father and slaughtered his clansmen. If he were to rely on this man, what was the difference between acknowledging a thief as his father? Don't worry, take your time to think about it. When you've thought about it, go to Thousand Phoenix Mountain to find me. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he looked at the frenzy and the white-eyed wolf and said, "Let's go." Hai Zedong stared at the backs of the three, his hands tightly clenched together. His nails had already pierced through his flesh, and drops of blood flowed out. "Wait!" Suddenly, Hai Zedong roared. The three of them stopped and turned to look at Hai Zedong. Hai Zedong gritted his teeth, knelt on the ground with a plop and bowed. "Greetings, master." The frenzy and the white-eyed wolf were stunned. He actually agreed? And he directly knelt in the air. This person was indeed quite decisive. No wonder Dong Tianqian fell into his hands. "Are you sure you've thought about it? Because in the future, I might send you to your death," Qin Feiyang asked. "I've thought about it. Because only by becoming stronger will I have the hope of taking revenge." Hai Zedong lowered his head and said. He didn't hide his killing intent towards Qin Feiyang and the other two. "Haha, if you want to take revenge on us, then you have to work even harder." The frenzy laughed. Hai Zedong raised his head and stared at the frenzy, saying word by word, "I will definitely work hard." "Good. Just because of your courage, this daddy will make the decision now and give you a few ultimate mysteries." The frenzy laughed. A trace of joy appeared in Hai Zedong's eyes. The frenzy said, "Don't be happy too early. You have to first make a blood oath that you will never betray us." "What?" Hai Zedong's body stiffened. If he made a blood oath, would there be any hope of getting a reward? No matter how strong he was, he didn't dare to say that he could compete with a blood oath. "Aren't you very courageous? Are you afraid of a mere blood oath?" The frenzy looked at him mockingly. "Good." Hai Zedong suddenly stood up, his long hair fluttering in the wind as he roared to the sky. "I, Hai Zedong, hereby make a blood oath to forever be loyal to my master, Qin Feiyang. If I violate this oath, I will be punished by the heavens." Boom! Crack! Accompanied by a deafening sound of thunder, an oath seal fell from the sky and disappeared into Hai Zedong's head. "Today, for the sake of renovation, I've been running around all day, so I'm physically and mentally exhausted. Just 2. Chapter 42:55. Since the vow had been formed, it was too late to regret. Now, Hai Zedong didn't think too much about it. He was only concerned about whether Qin Feiyang and the others would give him the ultimate inheritance. Strong winds howled and huge waves surged. Qin Feiyang looked at Hai Zedong and asked, What ultimate inheritance have you grasped now? Currently, it is the ultimate inheritance of the time law. As for the other two ultimate laws, space-time law and death law, I have only comprehended the ultimate inheritance. Hai Zedong lowered his head. Not bad. To be able to comprehend an ultimate profundity of an ultimate law at such a young age. The madman laughed. No, the ultimate inheritance of the time law wasn't comprehended by me. It was the inheritance my father gave me. Hai Zedong shook his head. The madman was taken aback for a moment and frowned. So, you haven't even comprehended an ultimate inheritance? And Hai Zedong didn't deny it. Because he was indeed very young. He was already very proud of his current achievements. Other than the time law, space-time law, and death law, what other laws do you want? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Hai Zedong didn't hesitate at all and said, any law is fine, as long as it is an ultimate law, as long as I can grasp the will of the heavenly Tao. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded and transmitted his voice. Fire Lotus, help me prepare the inheritance of 6 ultimate laws. I don't want the ultimate inheritance of the time law. Okay. Fire Lotus responded. Soon, 6 inheritances appeared in the void in front of Qin Feiyang. They were space-time law, death law, karma law, devour law, destruction law, and life law. Looking at these 6 inheritances, Hai Zedong's face was full of excitement. Wait, but suddenly, he was stunned. It seemed that there were more than 5? 1, 2. There were actually inheritances of 6 ultimate profound meanings among them. What's going on? Hai Zedong was a little dumbfounded. He only wanted 5 inheritances, but he was given 6 in the end? The madman and the white-eyed wolf also looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Was it because there were so many inheritances of ultimate profound meanings, and they didn't know how to cherish them and squander them as they pleased? You're not mistaken. This is the samsara inheritance. The inheritance of the 6 paths is also for you. Qin Feiyang looked at Hai Zedong and smiled. Hai Zedong was stunned. This should have been a good thing. However, he couldn't bring himself to be happy. He knew that Qin Feiyang would not be so kind as to give him an inheritance for free. You don't want it? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Think about it. Hai Zedong hurriedly nodded and said, however, you definitely won't give it to me for free. You are very smart. In this world, no one is willing to give away an inheritance for free, and it's an ultimate profound inheritance of a supreme law. Think about it. If the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan suddenly announce their betrayal of the Divine Kingdom one day and point their blades at the Central Dynasty, what effect will it have on the 4 great continents? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. I see. The madman and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other and finally understood Qin Feiyang's goal. Qin Feiyang let Hai Zedong unify the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan to prepare for the rebellion of the 3 clans in the future. The 3 clans had always lived in the Divine Kingdom, and the Divine Kingdom was their home. Naturally, they had a sense of belonging. In the future, the king, the Divine King, and the human clan's paragon would rebel. More or less, the creatures of the 4 great continents would stand up to oppose. Although Lu Jiajin was adding fuel to the fire with the help of Dong Tianqian, it was impossible to make all the creatures of the 4 great continents hostile to the Central Dynasty and the Divine Kingdom. Some people would at most be dissatisfied and complain. Even if some people wanted to rebel with the king, they wouldn't dare to take action because of their fear of the Central Dynasty and the Divine Kingdom's paragon. Therefore, this required a leader. The Sea Clan and the Beast Clan were the leaders in Qin Feiyang's plan. They were equivalent to cannon fodder. Think about it. The Sea Clan and the Beast Clan had such a good relationship with the Central Dynasty. If the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan betrayed the Divine Kingdom and united against the Central Dynasty, what would the others think? Of course, they would think that even the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan, who had such a good relationship with the Central Dynasty, wanted to rebel. It could be seen how unfriendly the Central Dynasty and the Divine Kingdom's paragon were to the 4 great continents. As the saying goes, gossip is a fearful thing. If the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan really wanted to rebel, there would be all kinds of discussions. Then, everyone would think, if the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan, whom the Divine Kingdom's paragon trusted so much, betrayed them. Why couldn't they? In other words, the betrayal of the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan gave everyone courage and an excuse. At that time, together with the king, the Divine King, and the paragon of the human clan, the three behind-the-scenes plotters, the three major clans would naturally rebel. In short, whether it was what Lu Jiajin was doing now or what Qin Feiyang was doing now, they were all paving the way for the future. You guys are really treacherous. The white-eyed wolf looked at Qin Feiyang with disdain. What are you talking about? Isn't it all for the sake of the world? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at him. Humph. The white-eyed wolf smiled disdainfully and bared his teeth. Actually, I originally thought that you wanted to use Hai Zedong's hands to eliminate all the remnants of the Sea Clan and the Beast Clan. Qin Feiyang was startled. He shook his head and said with a smile, I did have the same thought. I wanted to ask Hai Zedong to gather all the remaining members of the two clans together. This way, we could completely eliminate them. Moreover, we could obtain many ultimate mysteries. However, after thinking about it, it would be a pity to eliminate them just like that. We should let them display their remaining value first. Sinister guy. The white-eyed wolf muttered. What about Hai Zedong? This person hates us to the bone. The madman frowned. It doesn't matter. If I can help him now, I can also destroy him in the future. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. That's true. The madman grinned. After leaving the taboo ocean, the three entered the black tortoise world. Tea garden. Qin Feiyang brewed a pot of tea and sipped it leisurely. The white-eyed wolf and the madman each held a jar of unparalleled god wine. The fragrance of the wine filled the garden. In the void opposite the three, Dong Tianqin's remnant soul was imprisoned in a barrier. He stared at the three with hatred. Tell us, how should we deal with you? The madman looked at Dong Tianqin's remnant soul and mocked. I admit that I lost to you. If you want to kill me, then bring it on. Dong Tianqin's eyes were dark. Because he knew that it was useless to beg for mercy now. These three would never let him go. How about this? You also submit to us and work for us, then we'll let you live. The madman mocked. Good idea. After all, with such a powerful domain, it's a pity to kill you. The white-eyed wolf's eyes lit up as he nodded and grinned. Don't even think about it. Dong Tianqin roared. Not only did they kill his brother, but they also forced him to this point and wanted him to submit? Dream on. One must adapt to the circumstances. It's your honor to be able to follow us, right? The madman said. My honor. You think too highly of yourselves. Right now, it's because the ruler isn't here. How can you be arrogant if you deny it? Dong Tianqin sneered. The white-eyed wolf smiled proudly. The ruler of the Divine Kingdom is indeed strong, but the person behind us isn't weak either. Do you know who is behind us? Who? Dong Tianqin was surprised. The heaven-swallowing beast. The white-eyed wolf enunciated each word clearly. What? The heaven-swallowing beast. Dong Tianqin was shocked. Qin Feiyang and the madman couldn't help but turn to look at the white-eyed wolf. It's to scare him. The white-eyed wolf hurriedly explained in secret. Qin Feiyang and the madman shook their heads and laughed. They didn't say anything, so why were they in such a hurry to explain? Chapter 42:56. I'm afraid that you'll misunderstand me. The white-eyed wolf felt a little wronged. Ever since he revealed the true face of his battle soul, he had been very nervous. He was afraid that Qin Feiyang and madman would think too much. Trust, you know. We've been brothers for so many years. If I still doubt you, am I still human? Qin Feiyang was speechless. The white-eyed wolf smiled embarrassedly and looked at Dong Tianqin. You should have inquired about our situation before coming to the four great continents. Back then, the ruler of the Divine Kingdom personally took action. It was the heaven-devouring beast and the ice dragon. Not only did they help him defeat your Divine Kingdom's ruler, but they also took him away from the Divine Kingdom. Dong Tianqin lowered his head and remained silent. My battle soul is the heaven-devouring beast. I don't need to tell you what it means. You should know. The white-eyed wolf looked at him mockingly. Dong Tianqin's eyes trembled slightly. Even your divine kingdom's ruler is no match for the heaven-devouring beast and the ice dragon, let alone small fries like you. By the way, let me tell you something. We were ordered by the heaven-devouring beast and the ice dragon to destroy your divine kingdom. The white-eyed wolf sneered. Dong Tianqian felt as if he had been struck by a bolt from the blue. It was actually the heaven-devouring beast and the ice dragon giving orders behind the scenes. Think about it carefully. Do you want to be destroyed together with the divine kingdom? Or do you want to turn over a new leaf and live a good life with us? After the white-eyed wolf finished speaking, he twisted the wine jar and gulped it down like a whale. Dong Tianqian glanced at the white-eyed wolf, then looked at Qin Feiyang and Madman. Both of them were calm. He couldn't guess what they were thinking at all. Whoosh! But at this moment, two figures broke through the air and arrived. Dong Zhengyang, Mu Qing. The three of them were stunned. Why did the five of them suddenly come here? The two of them came in a hurry, and their expressions were somewhat ugly. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Mu Qing looked at Dong Tianqian's remnant soul and wanted to say something. It's all right. If you have something to say it. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Mu Qing took in a deep breath and looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two. He said in a low voice, previously, Dong Zhengyang opened his eye of destiny and checked Dong Ping's fate. He discovered something huge. What is it? Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other, then hurriedly looked at Dong Zhengyang and asked, Dong Ping isn't dead. Dong Zhengyang said, What? Not dead? Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. How could this be? They had killed Dong Ping with their own hands, and they had seen Dong Ping's soul being destroyed with their own eyes. Impossible. You're lying. Dong Tianqian was stunned for a moment before he immediately roared. However, Dong Zhengyang ignored him. He looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and continued. I also found it hard to believe at first, so I immediately asked Mu Qing to use her all-seeing eye to check. She discovered that he was indeed not dead. This doesn't make sense. We saw it with our own eyes. He was indeed destroyed. The white-eyed wolf frowned. The madman looked at Dong Tianqian and asked, Did your brother leave his soul behind in advance? I don't know. If he's really not dead, why didn't he come to find me? Dong Tianqian's mind was in a mess. What was going on? Qin Feiyang looked at Mu Qing and asked, Where is Dong Ping now? I think he's in a spatial divine item, but I can't be sure. Whose spatial divine item is he in? Mu Qing shook his head. Spatial divine item. Qin Feiyang and the other two frowned. Impossible. I don't believe it. If he's really not dead, he will definitely come to find me immediately. What's your purpose for teaming up to lie to me? Dong Tianqian roared crazily. Is there a need to lie to you about this? Mu Qing sneered. Dong Tianqian didn't believe Mu Qing and Dong Zhengyang, but Qin Feiyang and the other two firmly believed their words. As long as Dong Zhengyang and Mu Qing said that Dong Ping was not dead, then Dong Ping was definitely not dead. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, Can't you see the owner of the spatial divine item? If this person is with Dong Ping, I can definitely see it. But now, Dong Ping is alone where he is, and he's still in a remnant soul state. Mu Qing said, Remnant soul state? Alone? Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other and became more and more suspicious. What kind of mystery was hidden in this? As Dong Tianqian said, if Dong Ping was really alive, there was no reason for him not to look for Dong Tianqian. After all, they were brothers. But now, Dong Ping was hiding alone. Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment and looked at Mu Qing and said, In this case, I'll have to trouble you to keep watching Dong Ping. I think, sooner or later, someone will come in contact with him. Okay. Mu Qing nodded and opened her all-seeing eye. Dong Zhengyang glanced at Mu Qing and then looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and said, Then I'll go back first? Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. After Dong Zhengyang left, Lunatic sighed and said, Fortunately, Dong Zhengyang and Mu Qing are here. Otherwise, we would never have discovered these problems. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. The 10 strongest fighting souls indeed had to work together to bring out the greatest effect. At this moment, Dong Tianqian also looked at Mu Qing silently. Firstly, he also wanted to know what was going on. Secondly, Seeing Dong Xingyang and Mu Qing's fighting souls with his own eyes made him even more terrified. Although the Eye of Destiny and the All-Seeing Eye didn't have much destructive power, their abilities were already heaven-defying. With such people helping Qin Feiyang, did the Divine Kingdom really have any hope? Time passed day by day. Outside, Dong Tianqin's matter had been completely spread under Lu Jiejin's arrangement. The human race of the West Continent, the purple-gold divine dragon race of the North Continent, and the god race of the South Continent were all in an uproar. How dare they? How dare they say we're trash? The people of the Central Dynasty are too much. Do they not treat us as humans? Everyone who received this news was filled with righteous indignation. Mount Supreme, the Divine King, the human race's supremacy, and Heavenly Lord Ji gathered together. Where's your father? The Divine King looked at him suspiciously. Father is monitoring Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin, so he asked me to come. Heavenly Lord Ji smiled. It must be hard on him. Dong Hanzong is really something. The 4 great continents are so big, but he doesn't go anywhere else. The Divine King snorted. With Dong Ping as an example, do you think he'll go anywhere else? Heavenly Lord Ji chuckled. That's true. The Divine King nodded. He thought for a bit and smiled. Then they won't dare to go back to the Central Dynasty now. Definitely. If they dare to go back to the Central Dynasty, Qin Feiyang will definitely kill them halfway. And if they can't go back to the Central Dynasty, they won't be able to find reinforcements there. Heavenly Lord Ji said. Peerless talents. I think they're more like peerless idiots. The Divine King sneered. Don't be careless. They won't dare to go back, but they can ask us to escort them back. We won't be able to refuse then. The human race's supremacy waved his hand. The Divine King and Heavenly Lord Ji were stunned. They nodded and said, That's true. It seems that we have to think of a way. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's talk about the current situation. You should have heard the news. Now, Dong Tianqin's matter is being discussed everywhere. Don't you think there's something strange about this matter? The human race's supremacy asked. There is indeed something strange. This matter is spreading too quickly. I feel like there's a mastermind behind this. The Divine King nodded. Heavenly Lord Ji lowered his head and pondered for a while. Then, his eyes suddenly lit up and he said with a smile, Who else would do such a thing besides those guys? The Divine King and the human race's supremacy looked at each other and couldn't help but smile. That's right. They must be the mastermind behind this. They've done a good job in this matter. And for us, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, we have to burn the fire and make this matter bigger. The Divine King's eyes flashed coldly. I think so too. Also, there's one more thing. Yu Lao and 5 peerless geniuses have successively fallen in the 4 great continents. I believe that the Central Dynasty's main force will soon arrive. So, we have to be prepared. The human race's supremacy warned. I thought of that too. This is indeed a troublesome problem. Although Qin Feiyang gave us 1,000 inheritances of ultimate mysteries, we haven't even decided on the candidates yet. Moreover, we still need time to integrate them in the future. The Divine King sighed. What? He gave you 1,000 inheritances of ultimate mysteries? Heavenly Lord Ji looked at the two in shock. Yes. The two nodded. This, Heavenly Lord Ji's expression stiffened. The Divine King's eyes flashed with a trace of craftiness. He asked, He didn't give you any? No. Heavenly Lord Ji shook his head. Then, did you offend him? The human race's supremacy and I each received 1,000 inheritances. The 6 ultimate mysteries are 1, so there are a total of 6,000 of them. The Divine King said, Offend him? I don't think so. Heavenly Lord Ji shook his head. What's going on with this brat? He gave the god race and the human race 1,000 inheritances, but not the purple gold divine dragon race? The Divine King was amused. The human race's supremacy couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. He looked at Heavenly Lord Ji and said, The Divine King is just teasing you. Qin Feiyang has already prepared everything for you. Heavenly Lord Ji was stunned. He looked at the Divine King speechlessly and said, You've also learned how to joke. The Divine King laughed and looked at the human race's supremacy. Why don't we just call him over now? We can discuss the future with him. Okay. The human race's supremacy nodded and took out a divine voice stone. The black tortoise whirled. Qin Feiyang and the other two kept their heads down and didn't say anything. They all looked quite annoyed. Mu Qing sat at the side and observed Dong Ping. She was also silent. Buzz. Suddenly, the divine voice stone rang. Qin Feiyang took it out and looked up at Dong Tianchen. He then turned to the other two and said, "You two stay here and watch." Okay. The two nodded and looked at the divine voice stone in their hands. It was obvious that Qin Feiyang chose to avoid Dong Tianchen because of the message from the monarch and the other two. In the ancient castle, Qin Feiyang sat in the hall and activated the divine voice stone. The shadows of the divine king and the other two immediately appeared. Has Dong Tianchen been dealt with? The divine king asked. It's already in my hands. Qin Feiyang smiled. You're really reliable. The divine king chuckled and asked, when are you going to kill him? There's an emergency now. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. He was upset. The divine king and the human race's supremacy's eyelids twitched. They asked, what's the emergency? Chapter 42:57. About. Just as Qin Feiyang was about to speak, Heavenly Lord Ji said, come to Mount Supreme first. I'll give you the coordinates and teleport you there. Mount Supreme? Qin Feiyang was slightly dazed. He nodded and said, okay, I'll be right there. The conversation ended. Qin Feiyang returned to the tea garden. What's wrong? The mad scientist and the white-eyed wolf asked. The divine king is looking for me. I'm going to Mount Supreme. Let me know if anything happens. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. The two nodded. In less than 10 seconds, a space-time tunnel appeared in the main hall. Qin Feiyang walked out of the passage and looked at Heavenly Lord Ji with a smile. Uncle, why are you free today to come to Mount Supreme? Heavenly Lord Ji's face darkened. Uncle, is this something a brat like you can call out? The divine king and the human race's supremes couldn't help but laugh. The divine king asked, tell me what happened? Dong Ping isn't dead. Qin Feiyang sat next to Heavenly Lord Ji and said, what? The three of them got up. Didn't you kill Dong Ping with your own hands? Why isn't he dead? Heavenly Lord Ji frowned. That's what we're confused about. At that time, we really did see his soul being destroyed with our own eyes. But not long ago, Dong Xingyang and Mu Qing used the Eye of Destiny and the Heavenly Eye to find out that Dong Ping isn't dead. We don't know whose divine item he's hiding in. Qin Feiyang heaved a sigh. That's impossible. If Dong Ping isn't dead, why didn't he come to find Dong Tianchen? The divine king was confused. We're also confused by this. Qin Feiyang rubbed his forehead and took out a yin and yang ring. He gave it to Heavenly Lord Ji and said, Uncle, here are the inheritances I prepared for you. 1,000 of them. Heavenly Lord Ji was overjoyed. But suddenly, the divine king took a step forward and grabbed the cosmos ring. What are you doing? Heavenly Lord Ji asked anxiously. Don't be nervous. I just want to see if this kid is biased. The divine king checked the inheritances in the universe ring. There were exactly 1,000 of them. I say, Senior, can't people trust each other more? Qin Feiyang was speechless. Ha! The divine king laughed dryly and threw the interspatial ring to Heavenly Lord Ji. Heavenly Lord Ji quickly caught the interspatial ring and looked at the 1,000 inheritances in it with excitement. At his level, there weren't many things that could make him so excited. What do you want to discuss with me? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Just to discuss the future situation, the divine king voiced his worries one by one. The main forces of the central dynasty. When Qin Feiyang heard this, he couldn't help but frown. Yu Lao, Dong Hanzong, and the other four could easily deal with them because they were few in number, and all of them were stubborn and self-opinionated, so they could defeat them one by one. However, the main forces of the central dynasty were a different story. Not to mention the army of death in the hands of the emperor, the 5,000 overlords who had mastered the will of heaven would be a disaster for them once all of them arrived in the 4 continents. Because there were too many of them, he didn't care. If he could defeat them, he would fight. If he couldn't, he could hide. But the king and the others couldn't hide. They had to face them head-on. Time. What they needed most was time. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and looked at the three of them. How about this? We won't do anything for a while. Okay. As long as you don't do anything, even if the main forces of the central dynasty arrive, they won't be able to find the target. Naturally, we will have the time to grow. The divine king nodded. Then you should speed up. Qin Feiyang said. We know that. We'll make the arrangements later. But what about those spies? Shouldn't we get rid of them? The divine king asked. There's no rush. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and pondered for a while. Those spies might be useful in the future. Also, if we get rid of them now, it might arouse the central dynasty's suspicion. Arouse the central dynasty's suspicion? That's too serious. They were just bought over by Neptune and the dragon god. The people of the central dynasty probably don't know that they're spies the dragon god and the sea king planted in our three races. The divine king said, What if the people of the central dynasty know? Qin Feiyang asked. The divine king fell silent. If the people of the central dynasty really knew about the spies, then they couldn't get rid of them. It's better to be safe than sorry. Qin Feiyang sighed. I agree with what he said. After all, with the current situation, we can't take a wrong step. Heaven Lord Ji said. All right then, let them live for a while longer. The divine king's eyes flashed coldly. These damn bastards, they actually dared to betray the three races. None of them should think about living. Old Qin, there's news. It was at this time. Frenzy's voice sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. He quickly got up and looked at the three of them. I'll go to the Black Tortoise world first. Before the three of them could react, Qin Feiyang disappeared without a trace. This made the three of them look at each other. What's going on? At the same time, the ancestral land of the purple gold divine dragon race. Space divine item. Next to a clear lake, there was a quaint pavilion. Below the pavilion, there was a time array. At this time, on the second floor, in a room, a blurry figure sat cross-legged on the ground, reconstructing his divine soul and body. This person was Dong Ping. Da-da. Accompanied by a series of steady footsteps, a young man slowly walked upstairs and into the room. Brother Zong. Dong Ping immediately opened his eyes and looked at the person who came. It turned out to be Dong Hanzong. How's your recovery? Dong Hanzong revealed a gentle smile. It's okay. Dong Ping nodded and asked, How's my brother now? Don't worry, he's fine. He also knows that you're still alive. Dong Hanzong smiled slightly. In fact, Dong Tianqian didn't know at all. Dong Ping breathed a sigh of relief and said, I want to see him. No hurry. Dong Hanzong waved his hand and smiled. But, Dong Ping frowned. But what? Do you think I would harm him? Dong Hanzong was unhappy. No. Dong Ping waved his hand and sighed. This time, if it weren't for your foresight, I would have died in the hands of Qin Feiyang. You're my savior. Why would I suspect you? You're too serious. We're companions. It's only right that we help each other. Dong Hanzong smiled. Dada. At this time, another series of footsteps sounded. A woman walked up. It was Dong Xian, who had also lost her physical body, but her physical body had not been reconstructed yet. Obviously, during this period, she had also been reconstructing her physical body here. Brother Zong, what's the situation outside now? Dong Xian asked. The situation is not good, but it's under control. Dong Hanzong smiled. That's good. Dong Xian also let out a long breath, and then a trace of resentment crept up in her eyes. After reconstructing my physical body, I must kill those bastards with my own hands. Don't be careless. Qin Feiyang and the others are not easy to deal with. Dong Hanzong shook his head and then smiled. But I have to thank them. Thank them? Dong Xian and Dong Ping looked at each other. What did he mean? Why did he have to thank Qin Feiyang and the others? Dong Hanzong smiled slightly, looked at the two's divine souls and said, If they didn't seriously injure you, I wouldn't have the chance to control you. Control us? Dong Xian and Dong Ping were stunned and did not react. Yes, control you. Dong Hanzong nodded. Suddenly, A cold light burst out in his eyes. As he waved his hand, two blood rays emerged and instantly drowned Dong Ping and Dong Xian. Brother Zong, what are you doing? Dong Xian was flustered. What am I doing? Isn't it obvious enough? Dong Hanzong smiled hideously, and his eyes gradually turned blood red. If he was a gentleman before, then he was now the incarnation of a devil, exuding a shocking evil aura. You, looking at the current Dong Hanzong, Dong Ping and Dong Xian were terrified. Do you really think I'll be so kind to help you? Let's talk about you first, Dong Xian. Do you still remember how you humiliated me when I first appeared in front of you? At that time, in front of countless people, you said that I'm a lowly commoner and that I'm not qualified to stand together with you nobles. Dong Hanzong smiled hideously. That's all in the past. Besides, I've already apologized to you. Dong Xian said angrily. Apologize? Some things can't be solved with just an apology. Yes. You're born in a prestigious family with a strong family background. You were born a rich young lady, and you can have anything you want. I'm just a child from an ordinary family, so I'm naturally not qualified to stand together with you people. But you shouldn't have humiliated me in front of everyone. Do you know how embarrassed I was at that time? I even thought of dying. But when I thought about it, why should I die? I didn't do anything wrong. You're the ones at fault. So I silently swore that one day, I'll make you pay the price. So, I worked hard on my cultivation, and the heavens didn't let me down. I activated my domain, and it was the strongest domain among the 5. As expected, after I activated my domain, your attitude changed. Humans are just that realistic. When you're weak, they'll trample on your dignity. When you're strong, they'll fawn on you. Dong Hanzong sneered. Looking at the current Dong Hanzong, Dong Xian's eyes couldn't help but tremble. She didn't expect this person to be hiding such a side. Let's talk about you, Dong Ping. You and your brother, Dong Tianqin, are the same. When you need someone's help, you'll call him Brother Zong, as if he's your real brother. But once something happens, your true nature will be revealed. For example, a few days ago in Xinghe, Dong Tianqin was beaten up by Lu Yuntian, and in the end, he vented his anger on me. What am I? Am I your punching bag? What right do you have to be so arrogant in front of me? Is it because you have a good family background? Someone is supporting you from behind? Actually, I know in my heart that no matter how strong I become, you'll still look down on me. So, when I heard that you're coming to the 4 great continents, I had a plan in mind. Dong Hanzong laughed sinisterly, and the more he spoke, the crazier he became. His eyes had turned blood red, and he looked like a terrifying beast. Chapter 42:58. Just as Dong Hanzong's voice fell, the blood mist completely swallowed their divine souls, followed by a feeling that their lives were no longer in their own hands. The blood mist gradually dissipated. Dong Hanzong's face was full of smiles. However, this smile was terrifying to look at. Dong Xian and Dong Hanzong collapsed on the ground as if their strength had been sucked out. This was because of fear. It was as if they had met Dong Hanzong for the first time. What plan? Dong Xian slowly looked up at Dong Hanzong and asked. The first step of the plan, Qingtian City. At that time, I asked you to go to Qingtian City to deal with Qin Feiyang and the others, while I went to the North Continent to find Boss Ji and the others. Actually, I deliberately separated from you because I know that with your characters, once you meet Qin Feiyang and the others, you will definitely fight to the death. At the same time, I also wanted to use you to test their strength. After all, there is a saying that goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will win 100 battles. I can't take the risk myself, so I asked you to be the vanguard, the so-called cannon fodder. Dong Hanzong chuckled. You bastard. Dong Xian cursed. Wrong. This is brains. I can only say that you have no brains. As expected, the two of you fought against Frenzy and Golden-Winged Wolf, King one after another, and lost completely. Of course, whether you win or lose, it will be good for me. If you win this battle, it will be because of my good arrangements and command, and the Emperor will give me the greatest credit. But if you die in their hands, it will be for the best, so that I won't have to do anything." Dong Hanzong smiled. "You are killing with a borrowed knife." Dong Ping said gloomily. "Yes, I want to kill with a borrowed knife." Dong Hanzong nodded and continued. "The second step of the plan is to let Dong Ping find Lu Yuntian. This is also part of your plan?" Dong Ping was shocked. Of course. Dong Xian was seriously injured by Golden-Winged Wolf King, so it is very easy to deal with her. So there is no need to target her. Dong Tianqin is more difficult to deal with than you, so it will take more effort to deal with him, so I set my second target on you. Do you really think that I will ignore Mu Qing's all-seeing eye? No. I have always remembered it in my heart. I also expected that after the battle, Qin Feiyang and the others will find ways to kill us, so I arranged you to find Lu Yuntian alone. In other words, I am the one who personally delivered you to Qin Feiyang and the others. Dong Hanzong Yu, Dong Ping's anger. Originally, I had planned to use this opportunity to have Qin Feiyang and the others eliminate you, but now that I think about it, you have the undying domain. If you die in their hands, it would be a pity. It would be better for me to use you. So, before you went to Xingyue City, I came to find you alone and asked you to split a strand of your soul for me to keep. With that, when Qin Feiyang and the others destroy your true body, I will be able to easily control your remnant soul." Dong Hanzong smiled. "There is such a thing?" Dong Xian looked at Dong Ping in surprise. She didn't know about this.
Yes.
That day, when I was about to go to Xingyue City, he suddenly contacted me and asked me to split a strand of my soul for him just in case. At that time, his words were full of concern for me. I didn't think much about it, so I listened to him. Dong Ping nodded and stared at Dong Hanzong. "You keep saying that it is for my good, but it turns out that you have ulterior motives. To think that I trusted you so much." "Ha." Dong Hanzong laughed and said sarcastically, "If I didn't activate one of my strongest domains, if I didn't treat you like a brother, would you trust me?" "Bastard." Dong Ping roared. Yes. This is the attitude I want. The more hysterical you are, the happier I feel." Dong Hanzong laughed like a spring breeze. Dong Xian frowned and said, "What other plans do you have?" "Of course. The third step of my plan is to deal with Dong Tianqin. I didn't tell him that Dong Ping left a strand of his soul with me, so he thought that Dong Ping had died in the hands of Qin Feiyang and the others. Who doesn't know about the relationship between you brothers? He will definitely go crazy when he learns about your death. So, I used the monarch to lure Qin Feiyang and the others to show up. At first, I thought that Qin Feiyang might not show up because of the monarch, but I didn't expect that he was hiding in the crowd at that time. However, this Qin Feiyang is really smart. He used an avatar to deceive all of us. When I thought that the plan was going to fail, I never thought that Dong Tianqin would be crazy enough to turn the act into reality. Isn't this the same as sending an opportunity to me? Because if he turned the act into reality, he would not only offend the monarch, but also the entire purple gold divine dragon race, the human race, and the god race. Then, will he still have a way to live? But at that moment, something unexpected happened. Lu Yuntian and Ling Yunfei came. Dong Hanzong's lips curled into a mocking smile as he continued. Dong Tianqin thinks he's strong, but Lu Yuntian's means are even stronger. Dong Tianqin didn't even have the strength to fight back. Of course, I also played a part in that. Your part? Dong Ping frowned. Yes, because I told them the weakness of the Godslayer domain. Moreover, I repeatedly stopped Dong Qin from helping Dong Tianqin. The result was just as I expected. Dong Tianqin was seriously injured by Lu Yuntian, leaving only a strand of his soul. Dong Hanzong laughed loudly. It was the attitude of a victor. It was as if everyone involved in this matter was in the palm of his hand. Then where is my brother now? Dong Ping asked in a low voice. Now? Dong Hanzong laughed and said, he's probably in Qin Feiyang's hands. What? Dong Ping's expression froze. I originally wanted to control Dong Tianqin, but after coming out of the Star River, he left alone. By the time I realized it, he was already gone. But that's not important, because I know that Qin Feiyang won't let him go. I also know that Dong Tianqian must be preparing to return to the Central Dynasty, so I'm sure that Qin Feiyang will ask Mu Qing to find his whereabouts and kill him. After Dong Hanzong finished speaking, he looked at the two with a mocking smile and said, "This is my plan. What do you think?" The two felt a chill in their hearts. They never thought that such a gentlemanly person would be so insidious. Dong Tianqian definitely won't have a good ending in Qin Feiyang's hands. He might even be dead now. As for the two of you, it'll be difficult for you to die even if you want to. Dong Hanzong sneered. Don't even think about it. Even if you control us, when we return to the Central Dynasty, we'll still tell His Majesty your face. At that time, we'll just die. Dong Ping roared. Is that so? Dong Hanzong's eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness. Wait and see. Dong Ping laughed fiercely. If that's the case, then I'll have to eliminate the roots. Dong Hanzong's eyes flashed coldly. The two trembled. Of course. If you're willing to work for me obediently, I'll treat you well. Life or death, it's your choice. Dong Hanzong said. The two were silent. Dong Xian suddenly asked, What about Dong Qin? Does she know about your dirty deeds? Of course she doesn't. But even if she knows, it doesn't matter. Because she likes me, I can make use of her feelings for me to make her help me wholeheartedly. Dong Hanzong sneered. You bastard. Dong Qin is so good to you. And you actually want to make use of her? Dong Xian roared. You'd better think about your own situation. Besides, if it's not because of her feelings for me, do you think I'll let her go? Dong Qin is a good woman. As long as she doesn't betray me, I won't let her down. It was obvious that Dong Hanzong's words were from the bottom of his heart. Black Tortoise whirled. Mu Qing took a deep breath and lowered his head to drink his tea silently. What are you doing? Don't keep us in suspense. White-Eyed Wolf looked at Mu Qing and urged. Dong Tianqian was also impatient. Wait a moment. Let me calm down the shock in my heart. Mu Qing waved his hand. His face was filled with disbelief. Why? Madman looked at him suspiciously. After a long time, Mu Qing put down his teacup and looked at the three of them. You'll never guess who's with Dong Ping now? Can't you just say it? White-Eyed Wolf was speechless and was about to go berserk. Dong Hanzong. Mu Qing enunciated each word clearly. Chapter 42:59. Dong Hanzong, Qin Feiyang, and the other two were taken aback. It was indeed a little unexpected, because it didn't make sense. If Dong Ping's remnant soul was really in Dong Hanzong's hands, why didn't Dong Tianqian know about it? Dong Tianqian was also very puzzled. But as long as Dong Ping was with Dong Hanzong, he would be safe. Do you really think he's safe now? Mu Qing seemed to have seen through Dong Tianqian's inner thoughts and sneered. What do you mean? Dong Tianqian was surprised. There was a hidden meaning in his words. After the omniscient I evolved, not only can I spy on their whereabouts, but I can also hear their conversation. So, I heard the conversation between Dong Hanzong, Dong Xian, and Dong Ping. Mu Qing's eyes were heavy. What did they say? Dong Tianqian asked. You'd better be mentally prepared. Mu Qing sneered and turned to look at Qin Feiyang and the other two, and slowly repeated the conversation between Dong Hanzong and the other two without missing a word. After a while, Mu Qing finally finished. It can't be. Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other. Was this all part of Dong Hanzong's plan? Even Qin Feiyang and the other two were like this, let alone Dong Tianqian. He was full of disbelief. Do you think I'm lying to you? Mu Qing turned and glanced at Dong Tianqian. Dong Tianqian didn't say anything. He suspected that Mu Qing was sowing discord. You're now a prisoner. As for your god-slaying domain, it's actually not that important to us. So, is there a need to lie to you? Besides, I haven't even been to the Central Dynasty. How would I know about the feud between you and Dong Hanzong when you were young? Mu Qing sneered. Yes. Dong Tianqian's eyes trembled. Although Mu Qing had the omniscient eye, he couldn't see the past or the future. Whether it was the conflict between him and Dong Ping, Dong Xian, or Dong Hanzong, it all happened many years ago. Mu Qing couldn't have known. But previously, Mu Qing clearly mentioned that Dong Xian had humiliated Dong Hanzong. What did this mean? This meant that Mu Qing could indeed hear their conversation. It also meant that what Mu Qing said was true. Damn that Dong Hanzong. So you must have a grudge against us. So your so-called benevolence, righteousness, and kindness are all fake. In an instant, Dong Tianqin was infuriated. This person is something. Even we were tricked by him. The white-eyed wolf and madman's eyes were also filled with killing intent. If it was just a scheme against Dong Ping and the others, they wouldn't mind at all. In fact, they would even praise Dong Hanzong. But she actually dared to scheme against them. This was intolerable. Big cousin is right. This person is not simple. Qin Feiyang exhaled. In this lifetime, the only person who dared to scheme against him, other than the devil ancestor and a few others, was this Dong Hanzong. Does that mean he wants to control Dong Ping and Dong Xian? Madman looked at Mu Qing and asked. Yes. Mu Qing nodded and then said, and now, Dong Xian and Dong Ping have also surrendered? Impossible. I don't know about Dong Xian, but my brother will never bow to her, even if he has been controlled by her. Dong Tianqin roared resolutely. Haha, Mu Qing laughed. Unscrupulous. The sarcasm was also undisguised. What are you laughing at? Dong Tianqin said angrily. If you don't surrender, you will die. Do you think your brother will choose to die? Mu Qing sneered. Dong Tianqin was silent. Of course. This may also be Dong Ping and Dong Xian's delaying tactic. But I believe that as long as Dong Hanzong dares to keep them alive, then he must have a way to completely control them, because people like Dong Hanzong will not do things that he is not confident of. Mu Qing sneered. Dong Tianqin's heart sank. It seemed that he had to prepare for the worst. No, I can't let him use my brother. I must save him. At this point, Dong Tianqin looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and said in a deep voice, Okay, I agree to surrender to you, but my condition is to help me save Dong Ping. And? The three of them looked at Dong Tianqin in surprise. They didn't expect this person to care about his brother so much. There is one more condition. I don't care about the others in the central dynasty, but you can't hurt my family, Dong Tianqin said. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang and the other two once again looked at Dong Tianqin with new eyes. Not only did he want to protect his brother, but he also wanted to protect his family. This showed that he was a family person. As long as you promise me, I will make a blood oath now. Dong Tianqin looked at the three of them and said. Qin Feiyang and the other two smiled at each other and nodded. Okay. Then we will all make a blood oath? Dong Tianqin asked. That won't do. If I make a blood oath now, if your family members attack us in the future, then we can only stand there and be beaten. Frenzy sneered. They won't. I'm here. I'll stop them. Dong Tianqin promised. But what if they insist on attacking us? Frenzy said. Then what do you think we should do? Dong Tianqin frowned. How about this? As long as they don't attack us, then we won't target them. But if they insist on killing us, then they can't blame us for not being polite. Frenzy's eyes flashed coldly. Dong Tianqin's family background might be very powerful. But to be honest, whether it was Frenzy, Qin Feiyang, or the white-eyed wolf, he didn't care much about them. Okay, we will do as you said and make a blood oath. Dong Tianqin nodded. He couldn't wait to kill Dong Hanzong now. As one of the 5 unparalleled geniuses and with a powerful family background, he had never been schemed against like this before. This was a disgrace. After both sides made a blood oath, Qin Feiyang called the mermaid princess over to help Dong Tianqin reconstruct his divine soul and body. Witnessing the power of the Eye of Life, his heart trembled once again. These 10 strongest battle souls indeed had heaven-defying power. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that. As long as the Eye of Life was there, Qin Feiyang's group couldn't be killed at all. Feeling the power in his body, Dong Tianqin's eyes were filled with killing intent. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I will go to the purple gold divine dragon's territory now. What for? Qin Feiyang asked. Of course to kill Dong Hanzong. Dong Tianqin laughed fiercely. Do you think you can kill him with your strength? Frenzy and the white-eyed wolf had a look of ridicule. Hearing this, Dong Tianqin's expression froze. He was very clear about Dong Hanzong's strength. With his strength alone, he really couldn't kill this person. After pondering for a while, he looked at the three of them and said, "You have to help me?" "Help. We definitely have to help. But we have to plan it well." After all, Dong Ping is already under Dong Hanzong's control. In this case, the only way is to kill Dong Hanzong when he's least expecting it. As long as Dong Hanzong is dead, his control over Dong Ping will naturally be resolved. Qin Feiyang said, "Kill him when he's least expecting it," Dong Tianqin whispered. Dong Hanzong was very cautious. It wasn't that easy to kill him when he's least expecting it. There is another way. Frenzy bared his teeth. What way? Dong Tianqin quickly looked at Frenzy. Find Long Chun. Let Long Qin use the soul-controlling technique to control your brother. Frenzy laughed. Control? Dong Tianqin frowned. That's right. Long Qin's soul-controlling technique is quite high-level. As long as he's willing to make a move, he can easily break Dong Hanzong's control over Dong Ping. Frenzy nodded. I know about this too. A high-level control-type secret technique might be able to break a low-level control-type secret technique, but are you sure that Long Qin's soul-controlling technique is of a higher level than Dong Hanzong's? If his soul-controlling technique isn't as good as Dong Hanzong's, won't it be counterproductive? Dong Tianqin's face was full of worry. Don't worry. I believe that no one in this world has a better control technique than Long Qin's soul-controlling technique. Frenzy's face was full of confidence. Dong Tianqin didn't understand. Why was he so confident? Frenzy's confidence wasn't without reason. Because the soul-controlling technique was given to Long Qin by Ice Dragon. Think about it. Ice Dragon was an existence that even the ruler of the Divine Kingdom was wary of. Would he give Long Qin a normal control technique? Perhaps it was the best one. Frenzy said, "Anyway, as long as Long Qin makes a move, it's a sure thing. Then can we ask Long Qin for help?" "I'm begging you." Dong Tianqin looked at the three pleadingly. "Little Chun will definitely help. But the problem now is that Dong Ping is imprisoned in Dong Hanzong's spatial divine item. If we want to save your brother, we must first ask Dong Hanzong to release your brother from the spatial divine item. As long as we're face to face with your brother, we'll be able to catch him off guard." The white-eyed wolf said, "All right, I'll go to the purple gold divine dragon's territory first. Think of a way to ask Dong Hanzong to release my brother." Dong Tianqin said, "What way do you have? If you go back now, you'll only alert the enemy and make Dong Hanzong vigilant." The white-eyed wolf sneered. He wasn't a very smart person. He was ready to scheme against them in Qingtian City, but why was he so muddle-headed now? Then what should I do now? Dong Tianqin was at a loss. Now, not only can you not show your face, you have to cut off all contact with the outside world. Because Dong Hanzong has already determined that you'll die in our hands. In other words, he won't be vigilant. When we attack him and he realizes that he's no match for us, he'll naturally ask Dong Ping to come out and help him. As long as Dong Ping comes out from the spatial divine item, it'll be our chance. And when you show up at that time, you'll be able to give them another surprise." Crazy Man sneered. "All right, I'll listen to you guys." Dong Tianqin nodded. His eyes were filled with killing intent. At that time, "I'll definitely cut this bastard into pieces." Crazy Man pondered for a while and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. "Old Qin, this matter can't be delayed for too long. And it'll be harder to deal with Dong Hanzong when the main force of the Central Dynasty arrives." Qin Feiyang nodded. In other words, they must get rid of Dong Hanzong before the main force of the Central Dynasty arrives in the four great continents. Lu Jiajin nodded and asked suspiciously, "Why didn't you kill him when you went to the sea race last time?" "Senior brother and the white-eyed wolf went last time. I don't know what happened." Qin Feiyang shook his head and looked at the madman and the white-eyed wolf. "We didn't find him on the Sea God Island." The madman said, "It seems that one of them escaped the net. Then how did you deal with them?" Lu Jiajin asked. "Hai Zidong and Dong Tianqin have successively surrendered to us." Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "What?" Lu Jiajin was drinking tea. Hearing this, the hand holding the teacup suddenly froze. "One must know. Whether it was Hai Zedong or Dong Tianqian, they were all life and death enemies. How could they submit to these three brats? There's no need to talk about Hai Zedong. Without the Sea King, he's just a small character. As for Dong Tianqian, we have to thank Dong Hanzong for submitting to us. The white-eyed wolf grinned. What does this have to do with Dong Hanzong? Lu Jiajin was puzzled. It has a lot to do with him. The white-eyed wolf told Lu Jiajin everything that Dong Hanzong had done in detail. This, even with Lu Jiajin's personality, he couldn't help but be dumbfounded after hearing this. It turned out that all of this was deliberately planned by Dong Hanzong. It seems that not only you, but even I have underestimated this person. After a long time, Lu Jiajin came back to his senses and shook his head.
Yes.
Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile, "This is the main reason why I sent you a message this time, so that you can be mentally prepared. By the way, where is the inner demons? Why haven't I seen him? I'm in the South Continent. He's in the West Continent now." Lu Jiajin smiled. "Thank you for your hard work," Qin Feiyang said. "Why are you talking about this?" Lu Jiajin shook his head and said with a smile, "I just happened to tell you the origin of the 5 unparalleled geniuses and the forces behind them. You found out so quickly?" The madman was stunned. "These are all trivial matters. It's not difficult to find out. Among the 5 unparalleled geniuses, Dong Tianqian and Dong Ping's family background is the most powerful. Their family background in the Central Dynasty is second only to the bloodline of the emperor," Lu Jiajin said. "The Central Dynasty is also divided into direct, and collateral bloodlines?" The madman was surprised. "Yes, the direct bloodline must be the descendants of the emperor of the Divine Kingdom. The direct bloodline is the cousin of the emperor of the Divine Kingdom, and the number of people in both direct and direct bloodlines is very small. As for collateral bloodlines, there are many of them." Lu Jiajin smiled. "So, not all people in the Central Dynasty have the surname Dong?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Of course. Since there are cousins, there must be other surnames." Although Dong Tianqian and Dong Ping's family is weaker than the bloodline of the emperor, they are still the direct bloodline, because Dong Tianqian and Dong Ping's grandfather is the brother of the Central Dynasty's emperor. In fact, we have had a lot of conflicts with Dong Tianqian's family in the Central Dynasty. Of course, it's mostly because of the inner demons. They are not afraid of anything and often go to provoke them. Lu Jiajin smiled. "That's expected." Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. With the personality of the inner demons, they probably even offended a lot of people from the emperor's bloodline. However, we only just found out that Dong Tianqian and Dong Ping are the 5 unparalleled geniuses. The Central Dynasty is very protective of the 5 unparalleled geniuses, and Dong Xian is also a direct bloodline descendant. Her family background is similar to Dong Tianqian's. This is why Dong Xian looked down on Dong Hanzong, because Dong Hanzong's background is the lowest among the 5. Dong Hanzong was born in an ordinary family and belongs to the collateral bloodline. He has no status in the Central Dynasty, which may be one of the factors that caused his personality to become twisted. As for Dong Qin, she is a direct bloodline descendant. Her family also has a lot of influence in the direct bloodline. And it's worth mentioning that Dong Qin has always liked Dong Hanzong. When they were young, Dong Qin helped Dong Hanzong a lot. Lu Jiajin smiled. "So that's the case. In these few contacts, I also feel that the relationship between Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin is a bit unusual." Qin Feiyang nodded. Actually, Dong Qin's family was against Dong Qin's feelings for Dong Hanzong at first, but after seeing Dong Hanzong activate his domain, they slowly changed their minds. Furthermore, Dong Hanzong is a very good actor and a very good person. Even now, Dong Qin's family is extremely fond of him. Lu Jiajin smiled faintly. It seems that no matter where it is, people can't escape the law of reality. Madman shook his head. "That's for sure. Dong Hanzong's domain is the strongest among the 5 domains. Over the years, under Dong Hanzong's efforts, no one dares to offend him even if he's from the side bloodline. Dong Qin's family naturally wants to rely on Dong Hanzong, this future star, to raise the status of the family to another level." Lu Jiajin smiled. Then how many powerhouses have the will of heaven in the family behind Dong Tianqian and Dong Xian? The white-eyed wolf asked. That must be a lot. As far as we know, there are no less than 500. Lu Jiajin said. Damn, one family has so many? The white-eyed wolf's mouth twitched. Even the 5 major clans of the 4 continents added together didn't have that many. Sure enough, his descendants were especially taken care of. That's the general situation. As for the details, you can slowly understand it in the future. As for Dong Hanzong, I also agree that we should take action against him before the main forces of the Central Dynasty arrive, Lu Jiajin said. But we need a chance. If Dong Hanzong stays in the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan, then no matter how thorough our plan is, it will be useless. Qin Feiyang frowned. Because they couldn't directly attack the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan's ancestral land. First of all, it would cause a lot of damage to the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan. Second of all, the monarch, the Divine King, and the Supremes couldn't just sit by and watch. Not to mention the human race and the god race. Even Boss Ji and the other elders would be in trouble if they took action. Although Boss Ji and the others didn't want to take action, if they really went to the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan's ancestral land, it would be unreasonable for them to not take action. At that time, Dong Hanzong would definitely be suspicious. Lu Jiajin thought and said, Leave this matter to me. That's not good. If you interfere, won't our relationship be exposed? Qin Feiyang frowned. No one is watching us now. It doesn't matter even if Dong Hanzong finds out. We'll kill him when the time comes. He won't have a chance to tell anyone. Lu Jiajin smiled faintly. All right, then I'll wait for your good news. Qin Feiyang smiled. Wait, I suddenly thought of an idea to prevent the inner demons and big cousin from exposing our identities. Suddenly, Madman spoke, his eyes flickering. What idea? The 3 of them looked at him expectantly. Didn't Dong Hanzong ask us to release Yu Lao, Neptune, and the Dragon God? We can use this matter to lure him to meet us, Madman said. Qin Feiyang was taken aback, lowered his head and pondered, but Yu Lao and the others are already dead. The white-eyed wolf frowned. No. Qin Feiyang raised his hand, his eyes flashing, looked at the white-eyed wolf and said, Yu Lao and the others are indeed dead, but Dong Hanzong doesn't know. So these people can still be used? That's right. Not to mention Dong Hanzong, even Dong Tianqian, who has been to the Black Tortoise world, doesn't know. Madman snickered. All right, let's use this method. Let's discuss it in detail. Qin Feiyang nodded. Using this method, it would be foolproof. Chapter 4261. A few days passed. The 4 great continents had a rare moment of peace. However, on a quiet night, a streak of light streaked across the sky and entered the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan. An old man was sitting cross-legged on a mountain peak. The old man suddenly stood up and took a step forward. He grabbed the thing that was flying through the air and looked around. With a bewildered expression, he shouted, Who is it? His voice was like thunder, shocking everyone. Whoosh! Accompanied by the sound of air being torn apart, Heavenly Lord Ji and the other venerables flew out of the clan grounds and landed beside the old man. What's going on? Heavenly Lord Ji looked at the old man and asked. I don't know either. The old man shook his head and raised his arm. He was holding a letter in his hand. This is... Heavenly Lord Ji took the letter and opened it. His face darkened. What's wrong? The other supremacies looked at him in surprise. Be careful. I'll go find my father. Heavenly Lord Ji didn't answer. He instructed the group and disappeared into the night. Back of the mountain, green mountains and clear waters. It was quiet and peaceful. There was a courtyard beside a small stream. Whoosh! 2 figures silently landed outside the courtyard. It was Heavenly Lord Ji and the king. Brother Hanzong, are you here? The king looked at the dark pavilion and asked. A while later, the door opened and a young man and woman walked out slowly. It was Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin. We didn't know Miss Dong Qin was here. The king saw that Dong Qin was also here and hurriedly said rudely. Dong Qin blushed and hurriedly explained. Senior King, don't think too much. Brother Zong and I were just cultivating together. A single man and a single woman cultivating together in the dark? Would you believe it? Moreover, her clothes were a little messy. The king and heavenly Lord Ji didn't believe it. Moreover, Dong Qin's fondness for Dong Hanzong could be seen by anyone with a discerning eye. However, it wasn't appropriate to say it out loud. It was fine as long as they understood. Where are Lu Yuntian and Lu Yunfeng? The king asked. We don't know either. Dong Hanzong shook his head and smiled. Although they hadn't interacted much, they could tell at a glance that these two brothers weren't on the same side as them. It would appear that the two of them are not willing to be disciplined. The monarch shook his head and smiled. His words were somewhat meaningful. Your Majesty, your words are a little harsh. They are them, and we are us. Has no one ever disciplined anyone? Dong Hanzong waved his hand. Brother Hanzong, you are truly magnanimous. The king cupped his hands and smiled. No, no. Dong Hanzong shook his head and said with a smile, I wonder why the two of you came looking for me? Heavenly Lord Ji took out the letter and gave it to Dong Hanzong. Dong Hanzong took the letter, opened it, and lowered his head to read it. His brows gradually furrowed. What is it? Dong Qin was puzzled. Dong Hanzong was silent for a moment before passing the letter to Dong Qin. Dong Qin held the letter and read aloud. Tomorrow night at Thousand Phoenix Mountain, early in the morning. I look forward to meeting Brother Hanzong. It was signed by Qin Feiyang. What? When she reached the end, Dong Qin's expression changed. The king asked, Brother Hanzong, what do you think their purpose is? Dong Hanzong pondered for a moment and said, It should be Yu Lao, Neptune, Dragon God, and the others. It can't be that simple. Dong Qin frowned. What do you think? Dong Hanzong looked at her and smiled. He didn't seem nervous at all. Dong Ping, Dong Xian, and Dong Tianchen have met with misfortune one after another. Naturally, it will be our turn next, so I think this should be a trap. Dong Qin said in a deep voice. No, 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 it's not us, it's me. Dong Hanzong waved his hand. What do you mean? Dong Qin was stunned. The letter says that I look forward to meeting Brother Hanzong. In other words, Qin Feiyang wants me to go to Thousand Phoenix Mountain alone. Dong Hanzong smiled. Dong Qin read the contents of the letter carefully. Indeed, it only mentioned Dong Hanzong. She frowned and said, Then you can't go. If you go to Thousand Phoenix Mountain alone, won't you be a lamb in a tiger's den? Yes. They didn't even try to hide the fact that they were trying to kill me. Dong Hanzong shook his head and sighed. But then he changed the topic and said, But I have to go. Why? Dong Qin was puzzled. Dong Hanzong said, Because we have to save Yu Lao, Neptune, and the Dragon God. This is the Emperor's order. Dong Qin fell silent. His Majesty has such an order? The king was surprised. Yes. Dong Hanzong nodded. The king and heavenly Lord Ji looked at each other and said to Dong Hanzong, Then we'll go and help you? How do you plan to help? Dong Hanzong asked with a smile. We'll ambush first. When Qin Feiyang shows up, we'll immediately attack and catch him off guard. The king's eyes flashed coldly. You can't. Dong Hanzong hurriedly shook his head. Why not? The king frowned. You've been fighting with them for so long. Don't you know their style of doing things? These people, no matter what they do, they're watertight. For example, this time, why did they meet outside instead of directly coming to the Purple Gold Divine Dragon Clan to negotiate with us? Because they're afraid that we'll surround and annihilate them. It's a little ridiculous. For a powerful divine kingdom like us, we can only threaten them if we join forces. Dong Hanzong sighed. Hearing this, Dong Qin, the king, and heavenly Lord Ji couldn't help but lower their heads with helpless expressions. Indeed, with the current strength of Qin Feiyang and the others, no matter if it was a person or a force, they could no longer compete with Qin Feiyang and the others. All the forces and experts must join forces to encircle and annihilate them. Think about it. The other party only had a few people, just a few young people, and they needed all the forces of the divine kingdom to join forces to suppress them. It was ridiculous. If I'm not wrong, They will definitely use the all-seeing eye to spy on your whereabouts before heading to the Thousand Phoenix Mountain. You should have experienced the power of the all-seeing eye, right? There is nothing that can escape the detection of the heavenly eyes. There is also nothing that can block the detection of the heavenly eyes. When they find out that you're hiding in the Thousand Phoenix Mountain, will they still come? They might even beat you at your own game and kill their way to the three sacred lands when you're not there. Dong Hanzong said, "That's possible." Last time, when they exchanged Jiang Yunshuang and the others with the Divine King, we went to the Thousand Phoenix Mountain to ambush them. In the end, they found out and killed their way to the Divine Island, almost destroying the Divine Island. The king said in a deep voice, "And the first time, we all went to the Supreme Mountain to support them, but they went to the Divine Island and killed more than half of the direct descendants of the Divine race." Heavenly Lord Ji added, "That's right. They love to lure the tiger away from the mountain. Maybe this time, they're also luring the tiger away from the mountain." The king's eyes were gloomy and he looked very angry. "So, you can't go." Dong Hanzong smiled. "You can't go either." Dong Qin said stubbornly, "I have to go. If I don't go, Qin Feiyong will think that I don't have the guts. Besides, Dong Ping is dead, Dong Xian is seriously injured, and Dong Tianqin's status is unknown. If I don't go, who will? Should I let you go? I won't allow you to go even if you want to. I can't let you take the risk alone." Dong Hanzong smiled. Hearing this, Dong Qin was very touched. "In short, I have to go this time. I don't want to be a joke. The 5 unparalleled talents of the Central Dynasty don't even have the courage to meet Qin Feiyong," Dong Hanzong said. Looking at this righteous young man in front of them, the king and Heavenly Lord Ji looked at each other and felt very emotional. What a good actor. If he was sincere, it was indeed admirable. But they already knew Dong Hanzong's true colors. Everything you see now is just a disguise he put on. After the king and Heavenly Lord Ji left, Dong Qin looked at Dong Hanzong anxiously and said, "Brother Zong, why do you have to do this? You Lao, Neptune, and the Dragon God are not related to us. There's no need to risk your life for them." Dong Hanzong's face changed and hurriedly said, "You can't say that. If someone hears it and the emperor hears it, you and I will be punished." "I'm just telling the truth," Dong Qin grumbled. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and said, "How about we find Lu Yuntian and let them go instead of you? The person Qin Feiyong wants to meet is me. What's the point of Lu Yuntian and the others going? Besides, do you think Lu Yuntian and the others are stupid? Didn't the 8 elites who returned to the Central Dynasty say that Lu Yuntian and Lu Yunfeng also suffered a great loss in the hands of Qin Batian? To be honest, I'm very glad that the person who wants to meet me this time is Qin Feiyong and not this Qin Batian, because in comparison, the person I'm most afraid of is still Qin Batian." Dong Hanzong smiled, but Dong Qin frowned. "Don't worry. I have my own plans. I won't risk my life." Dong Hanzong comforted her with a glint in his eyes. Time flew. Thousand Phoenix Mountain. The Thousand Phoenix Mountain was exceptionally quiet at night. Swoosh. As a space-time tunnel appeared, a young man walked out. It was Dong Hanzong. He stood in the night sky and scanned the surroundings. There wasn't even a shadow. He muttered, "He's indeed a vigilant person." Chapter 4262. At the same time, Black Tortoise World. Inside the tea garden, Madman put down the empty wine jar in his hand and said with a smile, "It's about time. We should go find Mu Qing. I'm really looking forward to it." What countermeasures did he come up with after receiving our letter? White-Eyed Wolf chuckled. Qin Feiyong couldn't help but reveal a smile on his face. Then, he put down the teacup and walked towards Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing's courtyard. When they arrived at the courtyard, they didn't knock on the door. They directly pushed the door open and entered the hall of the wooden building. Mu Tianyang was nowhere to be seen in the hall. This was because Mu Tianyang had been in seclusion upstairs. However, Mu Qing was still sitting alone in the hall. His all-seeing eye was also open. There was also a pot of fragrant tea on the tea table in front of him. "How is it?" Madman sat next to Mu Qing and asked. He has already arrived at Thousand Phoenix Mountain. Mu Qing smiled. So fast? Madman was stunned for a moment and asked suspiciously, "Is he alone?" "Yes." Mu Qing nodded. He pursed his lips and took a sip of tea. Looking at Qin Feiyang and the other two, he grinned and said, "But before he went to Thousand Phoenix Mountain, he had already made arrangements." "What arrangements?" The three of them were curious. Last night, when the king in Nine Heavens' realm went to find him with the letter, he might have already thought of a countermeasure. But last night, he didn't take any action. He was with Dong Qin the entire night. Mu Qing said, "What? The two of them are already together?" Madman was surprised. "Yes." Mu Qing nodded. "Damn, that's a little too efficient." Madman couldn't help but click his tongue. "Little Madman, that's not the point." White-Eyed Wolf waved his hand and looked at Mu Qing with a wretched smile on his face. "What do you mean?" Madman looked at White-Eyed Wolf in confusion. "Think about it. When the monarch and first uncle brought the letter to Dong Hanzong, a certain someone had already been secretly spying on them with the omniscient eye. After that, didn't Dong Hanzong and Dong Qin cough? For example, some of their intimate actions were all seen by a certain someone?" The White-Eyed Wolf narrowed his eyes and stared at Mu Qing with a wretched smile. Ugh! Madman was stunned. Mu Qing's mouth twitched. "Yeah." Madman suddenly slapped his head and looked at the White-Eyed Wolf. "And in front of the all-seeing eye, it's like a live broadcast." "That's right." The White-Eyed Wolf nodded. Following closely, the two of them stared at Mu Qing, bared their teeth and said, "Kid, do you like it? Did you have a nosebleed?" Scram! Mu Qing's face darkened. What kind of dirty thoughts did these two fellows have? "You dare say you didn't see it?" Madman chuckled. "I dare say I didn't see it. Although I have been spying on them, I chose to avoid certain scenes that are not suitable for children. Besides, am I that kind of person?" Mu Qing said with a darkened face. "I don't believe it." The White-Eyed Wolf asked. "Forget it if you don't believe it. Don't use your dirty thoughts to measure a simple person like me. I'm a true gentleman." Mu Qing snorted coldly. "You are a gentleman?" I laughed. The White-Eyed Wolf laughed and asked, "Then tell me, what were they doing last night?" "Idiot question. A man and a woman alone. What else can they do?" Mu Qing was speechless. Look. If you didn't see it, would you know what they were doing?" "Hypocrite." The White-Eyed Wolf despised him. You." Mu Qing was speechless for a moment and couldn't refute. He glared at Qin Feiyang, who was sitting next to him and laughing secretly, and shouted, "You bastard, don't you care?" Cough. Qin Feiyang coughed and looked at Madman and the White-Eyed Wolf, saying, "How can you do this? Don't you know what kind of person Mu Qing is? How can he do this kind of peeping in the dark? I guess he will at most take a few glances. After all, he is thin-skinned." Mu Qing glared at Madman and the White-Eyed Wolf and said, "Did you hear that? That's more like it. Wait." But before he finished speaking, he felt that there was something wrong with this sentence. After thinking carefully, he immediately glared at Qin Feiyang and shouted, "What do you mean by at most taking a few glances? You are insulting my character and trampling on my dignity." Haha! Qin Feiyang and the other two couldn't help laughing. Mu Qing was so angry that she flew into a rage. "We are all men. It is normal to take a few glances when encountering such a thing." Qin Feiyang chuckled. "Get lost." Mu Qing's face was dark. But suddenly, he rolled his eyes and looked at Qin Feiyang. He grinned and said, "You said I was peeping, right? Well, when you and the mermaid princess are intimate, I will slowly peep at you." Qin Feiyang's body stiffened. Madman and the White-Eyed Wolf couldn't help but be stunned. "And the two of you?" Mu Qing looked at the White-Eyed Wolf and Madman and said, "When the two of you merry fire dance in Zhuoxiaoxian, I will go get a small stool and bring a plate of melon seeds. At that time, I will eat melon seeds while watching how the two of you spend your wedding night." Madman and the White-Eyed Wolf also froze on the spot. This kind of thing, just thinking about it made their scalp tingle. "Anyway, you said it. It's a waste not to watch." Mu Qing looked at the three of them proudly. "You are still too young to fight with me." "Ha, we were wrong. You are a gentleman?" How can you peep at other people's privacy, little madman? Don't you think so? Yes, yes, yes. We were just joking just now. Don't take it seriously. We are all brothers, right? Madman and Madman smiled flatteringly. What kind of joke was this, peeping at their wedding night? If that was the case, then who would be in the mood to do things? Do you think I'll peep on you? I'm planning to help you keep an eye on Mu Qing. The white-eyed wolf said angrily. It's hard to say. Do you remember that when Lu Hong and little cousin got married? You squatted on the windowsill and peeped on them? Qin Feiyang's face was full of disdain. What? Frenzy looked at the white-eyed wolf in astonishment. Did this damn wolf cub really do such a wicked thing? Ahem. The white-eyed wolf coughed to hide the embarrassment on his face. He looked at Frenzy and said, Don't listen to his nonsense. It didn't happen at all. I think it's you who is talking nonsense. It seems that the person I should be wary of in the future is you, Frenzy said. Damn it. Isn't it too hurtful for you to say that? The white-eyed wolf gritted his teeth. Don't get me wrong. There is no affection between us at all. Frenzy hurriedly waved his hand and distanced himself from the white-eyed wolf by more than 10 meters. Bastard, you're ruining my reputation. The white-eyed wolf couldn't help but stare at Qin Feiyang. Do you need me to ruin your reputation? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and walked quickly to the other side of the medicine field. Soon, a figure came into their sight. It was Long Chun. Chapter 4263. A law of light and darkness inheritance was floating in front of Long Chen. He was using this inheritance to comprehend the law of light and darkness, because only by comprehending the law of light and darkness could he integrate this inheritance. Hearing the footsteps, Long Chun slowly opened his eyes. When he saw Qin Feiyang and the other two, he immediately shook his head and said, It's definitely not something good. Why do you sound like we're the god of plague? The white-eyed wolf looked at him with dissatisfaction. Something like that. Long Chun sighed, got up and put away the law of light and darkness inheritance. He patted the dust off his body and said with a smile, Just say it. What's the matter? It's about the matter about Dong Ping that I told you last time, Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Long Chun was stunned and asked, So, you already have a plan? Yes. And the tiger is already out of the cage. Qin Feiyang nodded. What a pitiful person. When Long Chun heard this, he could not help but shake his head and sigh. Who are you pitying? The white-eyed wolf asked, puzzled. Dong Hanzong. Isn't he pitiful to be targeted by you guys? Long Chun laughed. The white-eyed wolf's mouth twitched. He was speechless to the extreme. It was not like he did not know Dong Hanzong's hypocrisy. Was such a person worthy of sympathy? What about Dong Tianchen? Long Chun asked. Dong Tianchen. The white-eyed wolf looked at Long Chun suspiciously and asked, Why are you looking for him? If you don't call him over, how can you give Dong Hanzong a surprise? Long Chun smiled mockingly. Yes, I'll go find Mu Qing right away and ask him to use his all-seeing eye to find out where Dong Tianchen is hiding now. The white-eyed wolf patted his head and immediately turned around and ran toward Mu Qing's courtyard. What a guy who wants to see the world in chaos. Long Chun shook his head helplessly. By the way, where's your sister? I haven't seen her in a long time. Qin Feiyang looked around and asked Long Chun. Long Chun frowned and said hurriedly, Shouldn't I be the one asking you that? I've left her in your care. Don't lose her. How am I the one taking care of him? These words made Qin Feiyang extremely speechless. Long Qin was already an adult, who still needed to take care of it. However, when he saw that Long Chun seemed to be a little anxious, he hurriedly waved his hand and said, No, even if it is lost, it will still be in the Black Tortoise world. Hurry up and find him. If anything happens to Qin, I'll definitely fall out with you, Long Chun urged. Qin Feiyang smiled, closed his eyes, and released his perception. A moment later, a trace of surprise crept up in his eyes. What is it? Long Chun frowned. Madman also looked at Qin Feiyang in confusion. See for yourselves. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, the void distorted, and then a picture emerged. In the picture, there was a small village that stood aloof from worldly affairs. There were about 100 households in the village. Most of them were old people and children. The old people's lives were very comfortable, drinking tea, chatting, playing chess, and basking in the sun. The children also had a lot of fun. Among the group of children, there was a woman in white who was dressed in ordinary clothes. Although her clothes were very ordinary, her temperament was extraordinary. She was Longqin. At this time, she was playing with a group of children in the village, and the laughter was endless. This madman's face was incredulous. Was this still the Longqin they knew? There was no arrogance at all, just like the girl next door. Longqin was also stunned. What was going on? Was this sister of his having a stroke? However, gradually, Longqin's face also showed a trace of a smile. You can still smile? Madman looked at him speechlessly. You don't understand. Even I don't remember how long it has been since I saw her so happy. Looking at her now, it's like looking at the innocent her when she was a child. Longqin smiled. Madman heard this and looked at Longqin again. He found that the current Longqin was indeed a little lively and cute, without any murderous aura. Moreover, the children in the village also called her sister happily. This is good. Longqin smiled slightly, looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Don't disturb her. Qin Feiyang nodded, and with a wave of his hand, the picture in the void disappeared. But don't you think it's strange? There must be a reason for a person's change. Longqin suddenly became like this. Could it be that she was stimulated by something? Madman was surprised. Stimulated? Longqin was stunned, and Madman asked suspiciously, What do you mean by that? Huh. Madman suddenly reacted, waved his hand and said with a smile, It's nothing. It's really good. Don't play dumb. Something must have happened during the years I was in seclusion. Longqin's face was full of displeasure. It's really nothing. Madman shook his head. Longqin was about to continue to ask. He was actually not the kind of person who wanted to get to the bottom of things. But there was no other way. This matter was related to his sister, so he had to figure it out. But at this moment, White-Eyed Wolf came and shouted from afar, Brother knows where Dong Tianchen is. Where? Madman asked. He thought that White-Eyed Wolf came at the right time. In a restaurant in Xingyue City. I'll go find him later, and then I'll meet you, White-Eyed Wolf said. Okay, then let's split up. Senior brother, you go with Longqin to Dragon God Mountain to save Dongping. White-Eyed Wolf, Dong Tianchen, and I will go directly to Thousand Phoenix Mountain. After you save Dongping, come to Thousand Phoenix Mountain to meet us. Qin Feiyang looked at Madman and said, Okay, what about Dong Xian? Madman asked. Keep Dong Xian for now. Her identity and domain are still useful. Qin Feiyang thought for a moment and said, Understood. Madman nodded. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the four of them immediately left the Black Tortoise world. Thousand Phoenix Mountain. Under the shroud of night, everything here seemed a bit blurry. On a mountain peak, Dong Hanzong stood alone, his expression as calm and indifferent as before. On the surface, he really looked like a dragon among men. But who would have thought that such a person would be so hypocritical in his heart? Wang, high up in the sky. Suddenly, a divine light emerged, illuminating the night sky. A space-time passage appeared. It's finally here. Dong Hanzong raised his head and looked at the space-time passage with a trace of expectation in his eyes. He muttered, You are the strongest person in the sky cloud realm, and I am the strongest person in the divine kingdom. Between the two of us, who is better? As his voice fell, a figure walked out. Who else could it be but Qin Feiyang? Qin Feiyang stood in the sky and scanned the surroundings. When he didn't see Dong Hanzong, he continued to scan the mountains below. The moment his gaze met with Dong Tianchen's, a series of invisible sparks seemed to collide. The atmosphere here instantly became incomparably oppressive. Dong Hanzong was right. Qin Feiyang was the strongest person in the sky cloud realm. Dong Hanzong was the strongest person in the divine kingdom. Both of them carried honor, mission, and responsibility on their shoulders. Therefore, they weren't mortal enemies, but they were stronger than mortal enemies. In the end, a battle was inevitable. Chapter 4264. We finally meet. This is the first time we've met since we came to the four great continents. Dong Hanzong was the first to open the topic. He took a step into the sky and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. There was only a distance of several feet between the two of them. With their cultivation, this distance was within reach. Yes, I've heard a lot about you. Qin Feiyang nodded. This was not flattery, but the truth. No one in the four great continents dared to ignore the name Dong Hanzong. His frightening mind and precise calculations were even more frightening. Same to you. Dong Hanzong smiled, glanced behind Qin Feiyang, and asked, "Where are the others?" Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "They said that since it's their first meeting with Brother Dong, they should prepare some gifts. How can I accept it? I didn't prepare any gifts for you." Dong Hanzong said with a smile. "You did," Qin Feiyang said. Dong Hanzong was stunned. He had prepared a gift? What gift? He didn't even know. "Since Brother Dong came to the four great continents, haven't you been giving me gifts?" Qin Feiyang smiled meaningfully. Dong Hanzong's pupils shrank. What did he mean by that? What did he mean by that? Dong Hanzong said with a smile, "Is that so? Why didn't I know?" Qin Feiyang smiled, glanced around, and said, "Brother Dong, there's no one else here. There's no need to hide it anymore." "I don't know what Brother Qin means." Dong Hanzong shook his head. "Haha," Qin Feiyang laughed. Did this person really think that he could deceive everyone in the world? Did he think that he could play everyone in the palm of his hand? Of course. People like Dong Hanzong also had the right to be conceited. For example, this time, Dong Tianqin and the others, who were also the five peerless geniuses, were fooled by this person. Even Qin Feiyang and the others would have fallen into Dong Hanzong's trap without Mu Qing. It was no exaggeration to say that. Dong Hanzong's mind and methods had already surpassed all the opponents they had encountered so far. What is Brother Qin laughing about? Dong Hanzong looked at Qin Feiyang in confusion. Nothing. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. All right, then let's get to the point. I believe that you won't let Yu Lao and the others go for nothing. State your conditions. Dong Hanzong said. Great. Since that's the case, I'll be a bit more straightforward. Yu Lao and the others have already been killed by us. Qin Feiyang smiled. What? Dong Hanzong's face changed, and he asked in a deep voice, "Do you know Yu Lao's identity?" "I don't know. Let's put it this way. Even if he is the brother of the ruler of the divine kingdom, I have no interest in knowing." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Dong Hanzong raised his eyebrows. But in fact, he didn't care about it at all. Yu Lao, Neptune, Dragon God. What did they have to do with him? If they died, they died. It wasn't a big deal. But he still had to put on an act. Just as you said, Yu Lao's full name is Dong Dayu. He is the uncle of the emperor, which means he is the brother of the ruler of the divine kingdom. Dong Hanzong spoke word by word, and his tone was as sharp as a blade. What? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Was he really the brother of the ruler of the divine kingdom? What a joke. How could he be right? This mouth of his must have been blessed. It is precisely because of Yu Lao's identity that the emperor gave us a death order to rescue Yu Lao. Now that you have killed Yu Lao, what do you think I should do? If I don't kill you, how can I explain it to the emperor? Dong Hanzong's eyes were slightly cold, and the power of law appeared again. The world was suddenly filled with a murderous aura. Qin Feiyang smiled but didn't say anything. How about this? You take the initiative to go to the central dynasty with me and apologize to the emperor in person. This way, I won't have to do anything. Dong Hanzong said. The central dynasty. To be honest, I really want to go. Unfortunately, I can't go with you, because someone is already leading the way for me. Qin Feiyang smiled. What do you mean? Dong Hanzong was surprised. You will understand soon. As for now, let's not rush to do anything. The gift I prepared for you is not here yet. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, then looked up in the direction of the East Continent and said with a smile, "It should be about time." Dong Hanzong looked in the direction Qin Feiyang was looking, and his expression became more and more surprised. At the same time, East Continent, Dragon God Mountain. Under the night sky, the Dragon God Mountain looked even more desolate, because this place was no longer the sacred ground of the past, and only ruins were left. Swoosh! Two figures silently descended from the sky. It was the mad scientist and Long Chun. The mad scientist scanned the ruined Dragon God Mountain and said, "Long Chun, did you think that Dong Hanzong would hide his divine soul and space divine item here?" Long Chun shook his head. In terms of intelligence, he didn't think he would lose to anyone. But at this moment, he had to admit defeat to Dong Hanzong. But no matter how smart he is, he can't escape the all-seeing eye. His failure was destined the moment he entered the four great continents. The madman laughed and no longer concealed his aura. His divine sense surged out like a tide, covering the sky and covering the earth below. Deep underground, there was a newly excavated secret chamber. In the center of the secret chamber, there was a palm-sized ancient pagoda that flashed with divine light. This was Dong Hanzong's space divine item. Beside the ancient pagoda, there was a blurry figure sitting cross-legged. It was Dong Hanzong's divine soul. The moment the mad scientist released his divine sense, the divine soul was shocked and suddenly opened his eyes. This seemed to be Madman Mo's aura. Why would he come to Dragon God Mountain? Boom! Immediately after, following the shaking of the heavens and earth, a large hole suddenly appeared above the secret chamber. Two figures descended from the top of the hole and landed in the secret chamber. Mad scientist, Long Chun, Dong Hanzong's divine soul's eyes trembled. As soon as he came to Dragon God Mountain, he directly found this secret chamber. It was obvious that he came prepared. The mad scientist didn't say anything. He took a step forward and directly slammed his palm. The divine soul wanted to escape with the space divine item. But was that possible? He was just a remnant divine soul. As the mad scientist's palm fell, the divine soul screamed and was annihilated on the spot. Immediately after, the mad scientist grabbed the ancient tower and slightly exerted force with his 5 fingers. With a loud crack, the ancient tower shattered on the spot. The moment the ancient tower shattered, 2 figures fell out of it. It was Dong Ping and Dong Xian. All of this happened in an instant, even though it seemed slow, because their actions had to be fast. Otherwise, when Dong Hanzong reacted, he would definitely destroy Dong Ping's divine soul. At the same time, Dong Ping and Dong Xian were both dumbfounded. Mad scientist? Long Chun? What was going on? Why were they here? "We are here to save you. Don't resist," the mad scientist shouted and turned to look at Long Chen. Long Chen understood, and with a wave of his hand, he activated the soul control technique. "Save us?" The two looked at each other. What was going on? These 2 people actually came to save them? Was this a dream? A tearing pain suddenly swept over, causing the 2 of them to howl miserably. It was even to the extent that their souls were on the verge of collapse. Crack! The next moment, a sound like a vase breaking sounded. Dong Ping and Dong Xian suddenly felt their body and mind light, as if they had regained their freedom. However, before they could rejoice, the soul control technique took the opportunity to control the 2. The 2 were furious. "What? Shouldn't you thank us?" The mad scientist laughed. The 2 glared at each other. They really thought that they were here to save them, but it turned out that they were here to control and enslave them. In contrast, they were more willing to be controlled by Dong Hanzong. Because they were controlled by Dong Hanzong, they still had a chance to escape. But being controlled by this group of people in front of them, there was no hope at all. "Let's go. I'll bring you to watch a good show." The mad scientist laughed and waved his hand, opening a space-time tunnel. At the same time, Thousand Phoenix Mountain. At this moment, the atmosphere here was extremely depressing. Dong Hanzong's entire face was gloomy to the extreme. There was still a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. This was caused by Long Chun shattering Dong Hanzong's control over Dong Ping and Dong Xian. When he sensed the situation of the Dragon God Mountain, he was indeed prepared to immediately kill Dong Ping and Dong Xian. But Long Chun and the mad scientist's movements were too fast. By the time he reacted, the control of Dong Ping and Dong Xian had already been broken. "This is the big gift you have prepared for me?" Suddenly, he raised his head and stared at Qin Fei Yang, his face instantly gloomy to the extreme, and his entire body was filled with a murderous aura that couldn't be dispersed. That's right. Qin Fei Yang nodded and said with a smile, I shouldn't have let you down. Haha. Amazing, really amazing. You even know that I hid my divine soul and spatial divine object in the Dragon God Mountain. Dong Hanzong laughed fiercely. This is the price you have to pay for underestimating us. From the moment we sent the letter to the purple gold divine dragon's land, Mu Qing has been spying on your whereabouts with the heavenly eye. So, we all know what you have done in this day and night. Qin Fei Yang smiled faintly. Good, good, good. Dong Hanzong nodded and laughed out of anger. After all this time, it turned out that he was the arrogant and self-righteous clown. Swish. Suddenly, he spun in the air and activated the momentary time. With the speed of lightning, he turned around and fled. He actually chose to escape? This made Qin Fei Yang quite surprised. Even if the split divine soul was destroyed by the mad scientist and Long Chun, as the head of the 5 peerless geniuses, he shouldn't be so spineless and have no dignity. I have also prepared a big gift for you. Don't you want to see it? Qin Fei Yang asked. Not interested. Dong Hanzong said without turning his head, his face as calm as water. He had always been very confident in his own strength, but now that he was facing Qin Fei Yang, he didn't dare to be careless without full confidence. Whether you are interested or not, it's not up to you. However, before his voice faded, a wild laughter sounded. In the mountain ahead, 2 figures rushed out and crossed the void. What? Dong Hanzong slammed the brakes and looked at one of them in surprise. These 2 people were the white-eyed wolf and Dong Tianqian. The person Dong Hanzong was looking at this moment was Dong Tianqian. Chapter 4265. Dong Tianqian? Dong Hanzong rubbed his eyes in disbelief. When he looked at Dong Tianqian again, his expression froze. What the hell was going on? Dong Tianqian was not dead. Not only was he not dead, even his physical body had been reconstructed. Are you disappointed to see that I'm still alive? Dong Tianqian stepped on the air step by step, his face looking incomparably ferocious. What are you talking about? I'm happy that you're alive. Dong Hanzong hurriedly hid the panic and guilt on his face, trying to squeeze out a smile. Is that so? I'm quite happy too. Dong Tianqian nodded and quickly walked to the opposite side of Dong Hanzong. Both of them were smiling. But suddenly, Dong Tianqian waved his hand, and all the ultimate profound meanings were activated, charging towards Dong Hanzong. Dong Hanzong's face changed as he hurriedly dodged and said angrily, What are you doing? Aren't you happy to see me alive? But why are you still guarding against me? Dong Tianqian sneered. What the hell is going on with you? Why are you with Qin Fei Yang and Golden-Winged Wolf King? Could it be that you are being controlled by them? Dong Hanzong's face was full of concern. Put away your hypocritical face. I feel disgusted just by looking at it. Dong Tianqian roared and activated the god-killing domain. The invincible runes bloomed with a dazzling divine light. What are you doing? Why can't I understand a single word of what you're saying? Dong Hanzong said angrily. You don't understand? I used to think that you were a gentleman, but I didn't expect that under your sanctimonious appearance, you actually hid such a sinister and vicious heart. Looking at your current face, I feel disgusted. Dong Tianqian's face was filled with disgust. In fact, he knew that he himself was not a good person, but compared to Dong Hanzong's hypocrisy, he felt that he was 100 times better. At the very least, he would not harm his companions behind their backs. Dong Hanzong became more and more flustered and hurriedly said, There must be some misunderstanding here. Don't be instigated by them. Dong Hanzong, you still have the face to say that. Suddenly, another angry roar sounded. In the sky, a space-time tunnel appeared. Madman, Long Chun, Dong Ping, and Dong Xian walked out of the space-time tunnel one after another. The one who roared was Dong Ping. Dong Ping, Dong Xian. Dong Tianqian was overjoyed. Brother. When Dong Ping saw Dong Tianqian, he was also overjoyed. He quickly pointed at Dong Hanzong and roared, This bastard. I already know. Dong Tianqian waved his hand. You know? Dong Ping was taken aback. How did Big Brother know about Dong Hanzong's despicable deeds? Yes. It was also me who asked Qin Feiyang and the others to save you. Dong Tianqian nodded. You asked them to do that? Dong Ping and Dong Xian looked at each other. Why does it feel a little messy? Long Chun landed beside Qin Feiyang and said with a faint smile, My mission is complete. Thank you. Qin Feiyang smiled and sent Long Chun to the Black Tortoise world. At the same time, he found the Mermaid Princess and pointed at Dong Ping and Dong Xian. Help them reconstruct their bodies. Okay. The Mermaid Princess didn't ask anything and nodded obediently. The Eye of Life opened. Endless life power poured towards Dong Ping and Ye Tian like tidewater. Their bodies immediately recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Dong Hanzong looked around and finally looked at Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he charged toward the Mermaid Princess. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and stood in front of the Mermaid Princess and slapped out. Boom! The fist and the palm met. The wind howled and the void collapsed. Both of them took a step back. Qin Feiyang's eyes were cold as he stared at Dong Hanzong and asked, What do you want to do? Haha. Dong Hanzong was silent for a while and suddenly laughed. The Eye of Life was really heaven-defying. Dong Ping and Dong Xian's bodies were reconstructed one after another, and their mental states returned to their peak. Brother. Dong Ping immediately rushed to Dong Tianqian's side. Dong Xian also landed beside Dong Tianqian and turned to stare at Dong Hanzong, who was laughing like a madman. Her eyes flashed with killing intent. Qin Feiyang glanced at Dong Hanzong indifferently and returned to the Mermaid Princess's side. He smiled and said, See, this is the true face of the head of the 5 unparalleled prodigies. Pitiful. The Mermaid Princess shook her head. His strength and talent were both top grade, but his character was really bad. Qin Feiyang said, The scene might be a little bloody later. You should return to the Black Tortoise realm first. The Mermaid Princess rolled her eyes at him as if she had never seen the world. Ha! Qin Feiyang laughed dryly and then waved his hand. The Mermaid Princess disappeared without a trace. Immediately after, he looked at the mad scientist and the white-eyed wolf. The two of them understood and retreated together with Qin Feiyang, leaving the battlefield to Dong Hanzong and Dong Tianqian, because at this moment, Dong Tianqian and the other two would definitely fight to the death with Dong Hanzong. Haha, Dong Hanzong laughed nonstop. His long hair was a little messy, giving people a feeling that he was possessed. Dong Xian sneered and said, Dong Hanzong, you didn't expect that Dong Ping and I would be able to escape your control so quickly. I really didn't expect it. However, I didn't lose to you, and I didn't lose to you, Qin Feiyang. I lost to the all-seeing eye. Dong Hanzong stared at Qin Feiyang and roared. A wave of hostility erupted, because now, facing Qin Feiyang and the other two, it was impossible for him to escape. Moreover, Dong Ping and Dong Xian's bodies had been reconstructed and their combat strength had returned to their peak state. He could only fight with all his might. Don't talk nonsense. How have you treated us these days? Now, I will make you pay back double. Dong Ping took a step forward and activated the Undying Domain. Dong Xian's eyes flashed with killing intent and also activated the Godseal Domain. Come on, let me see how capable you are. Dong Tianqian also immediately activated his invincible mode, his body surging with murderous intent. Just the three of you? Apart from your family background, you are nothing. Dong Hanzong glanced at the three with disdain. Then today, I will let you see the strength of ants like us. Dong Tianqian roared. Boom. The power of laws emerged one after another. The three's ultimate profundities were all activated in an instant. One must know, Dong Tianqian and the other two had mastered 7 ultimate profundities of the ultimate profundities of the 7 ultimate profundities, which added up to a total of 21 profundities. As the will of heaven erupted, the void began to collapse. Qin Feiyang glanced around. With a thought, 3,000 clones appeared. Seal off the surroundings. Don't let the fluctuations of their battle affect the innocent people. He secretly instructed. The 3,000 clones immediately spread out and stood in the void in the distance. The 6 ultimate profundities and the life and death laws rolled out, condensing into a huge boundary that shrouded heaven and earth. This place immediately became an isolated battlefield. See? Now that there are 3,000 clones surrounding the battlefield, you can forget about escaping. Dong Tianqian sneered. Haha, this is ridiculous. The 3 unparalleled geniuses of the Central Dynasty actually have to rely on the enemy. Dong Hanzong sneered. Trying to provoke me? You are too naive. Now, we only have one enemy, and that is you. Kill. As Dong Tianqian roared, 21 ultimate profundities of the ultimate profundities of the ultimate profundities madly attacked Dong Hanzong. Haha, don't you know my means? Your ultimate profundities will only become my weapon to kill you. Dong Hanzong laughed wildly. Ancient runes appeared in the domain he was in. These runes were intertwined with the power of the stars, emitting a bright light. Invert the universe. He said each word clearly and forcefully. As his voice fell, a shocking scene appeared. The 21 ultimate profundities were about to reach him, but at this moment, a dazzling starlight erupted in Dong Hanzong's domain. The starlight surged and covered the sky, drowning the 21 ultimate profundities. In the next moment, the 21 ultimate profundities turned in the air and were controlled by Dong Hanzong to attack Dong Tianqian and the other 2. This is the power of his domain? Qin Feiyang and the other 2's pupils shrank. Invert the universe, turning other people's ultimate profundities into his own means of killing the enemy. The stronger the enemy's means, the stronger Dong Hanzong would be. This ability was indeed heaven-defying. It was no wonder that Boss Ji and the other elders would suffer in his hands. However, Dong Hanzong, Dong Tianqian, Dong Ping, and Dong Xian were all unparalleled geniuses of the Central Dynasty, and they already knew each other's strengths. Therefore, Dong Tianqian and the other 2 were very clear about Dong Hanzong's strength. Seeing the 21 ultimate profundities attack, the 3 of them were not nervous at all. Haha, come at me more fiercely. Dong Ping laughed and charged towards the 21 ultimate profundities. Accompanied by a loud bang, the undying domain shattered, but the undying runes inside all merged into Dong Ping's body in an instant. Dong Ping, who had merged with the undying runes, was considered to have a true undying body. The 21 ultimate profundities attacked, and Dong Ping's physical body was shattered, but in the next moment, he was full of vigor and vitality, and his combat strength instantly soared by a level. Come. I've already tried, between the undying domain and the universe domain. Which is stronger? Dong Ping laughed sinisterly, as if he had transformed into a demon god, madly pouncing towards Dong Hanzong. Good. I'll fulfill your wish. Dong Hanzong laughed sinisterly, and various laws surged out. Seal. However, at this moment, Dong Xian raised her hand and pointed in the air, and an invisible force surged out and rushed towards Dong Hanzong. This was the power of her sealed god domain. Seal divine power, and the power of laws. Immediately, Dong Hanzong lost all his power, as if he had become a cripple. Dong Ping took a step forward and punched Dong Hanzong's domain. With a loud bang, Dong Hanzong, together with the domain, was sent flying. Although the universe domain was not broken, Dong Ping's powerful force shook him to the point of vomiting blood. I see, Qin Feiyang muttered. The 5 domains were actually the same as the 10 strongest fighting souls. Although there was a ranking, it was actually similar, but each had their own strengths. Chapter 4266. God Sealing Domain. Sealing Power, Law, Divine Power. God Murdering Domain. With an hour of absolute invincibility. The Undying Domain granted him an undying body for an hour. Universe Domain, with the ultimate ability to control others. Moreover, upon closer inspection, one would find that these domains complemented each other and countered each other. For example, Dong Hanzong and Dong Ping. Dong Hanzong could control Dong Ping's ultimate ability, while Dong Ping could rely on Dong Hanzong's ultimate ability to increase his own combat strength for a short period of time. For example, Dong Xian and Dong Tianqian. Dong Xian could seal Dong Tianqian's power, divine power, and law. But Dong Tianqian relied on his absolute immortality, and Dong Xian couldn't do anything to him. In short, facing the enemy, the 5 domains combined were absolutely invincible. But if there was an internal battle, both sides would suffer. Of course, it was obviously impossible for both sides to suffer now, because Dong Tianqian, Dong Ping, and Dong Xian were teaming up to kill Dong Hanzong. 3 against 1, and all of them had domains. The outcome was naturally set. Universe domain is so great? Do you really think that you are the leader of the 5 unparalleled geniuses? If it weren't for your brains and strategy, we would have been impolite to you. What the hell? Do you think that by activating your domain, you can be on equal footing with us direct descendants? You, after all, are just a collateral descendant. Your fate has been determined from the moment you were born. No matter how hard you work in this life, you will never be able to turn it around. Dong Ping laughed. Relying on his immortality, he was like a demon god, crazily attacking Dong Hanzong. These words undoubtedly tore open the scar in Dong Hanzong's heart. In this life, what he hated the most was others talking about his identity. It was also because of this identity that he had always been humiliated and trampled on. He worked hard to cultivate in order to get rid of this shame and become a top figure in the central dynasty. But even now, these people still look down on him. On what basis? It was just that his birth was better than his. What else could compare to him? All of you will die. Don't even think about escaping. Boom. A monstrous, murderous aura erupted. In an instant, Dong Hanzong's long hair seemed to be dyed red with blood, and his body surged with blood, like a god from hell. The heavens are heartless. I will defy the heavens. If the gods are unfair, I will kill the gods. I want to overturn the universe. I want to become the only god in this world and control the fate of all living beings in this world. Universe domain. Display your invincible might and make these ants tremble beneath your feet. With a roar from Dong Hanzong, the star runes within his domain instantly erupted with boundless divine light. It was as if a vast galaxy had appeared within his Qinquan domain. Those runes were like dazzling stars. The next moment, a scene that shocked everyone appeared. Within his universe domain, blood-red runes appeared out of thin air. Dong Ping's eyes flickered. This was an immortal rune. How could this be? The Undying rune could only be grasped by someone like him who had opened the Undying domain. Why would it appear in the universe domain? But it wasn't over yet. Following closely, golden runes appeared one after another. Dong Tianqian was also dumbfounded. This was the invincible rune. That was right. It was exactly the same as the invincible runes in his god-slaying domain. But it wasn't over yet. Boom. Accompanied by the emergence of a monstrous divine might, white runes appeared within the universe domain. How is this possible? Dong Xian was also dumbfounded, because this white rune was her sealing rune. What is going on? Qin Feiyang, Madman, and White-Eyed Wolf were all dumbfounded. Undying rune, invincible rune, sealing rune. Why did they all appear on Dong Hanzong's body? Could it be this was the true face of the universe domain? The ability to control others' ultimate profound was only the tip of the iceberg of the universe domain? You must be very surprised. After being together for so many years, you still don't know that I have such means? Let me tell you, this is the true universe domain. Dong Hanzong looked up to the sky and laughed. His blood-red hair fluttered behind his back. Star runes, undying runes, invincible runes, and sealing runes revolved around him, shining brightly. From afar, it was as if a god had descended. This is the true universe domain. Dong Tianqian and the other two were dumbfounded. After knowing each other for so many years, they actually didn't know that this person had such a terrifying means hidden. Actually, all these years, I have been enduring, because I know that if I reveal the true face of the universe domain, it will definitely make you guys afraid and join hands to trap me. Even to the extent of using the family forces behind you. I am not afraid of you guys, but I dare not be afraid of the family forces behind you. That's why I've been carefully protecting myself all this time. I've even tried to curry favor with you all in order to buy more time for me to become stronger. But I never thought that I would fall into Qin Fei Yang's trap. Since I have already come to this step, there is no need to hide. Today, either you die or I die. Dong Hanzong smiled sinisterly, raised his hand and pointed in the air, shouting, "Seal!" A formless energy instantly enveloped the three of them. Damn it, why is this happening? Dong Xian roared. He could actually use her means? Immediately, she also waved her hand, and the sealing force rolled out. The two sealing forces collided with each other, shattering heaven and earth. Not bad, not bad. However, you guys are still frogs at the bottom of the well. Do you think that the universe domain is called the head of the 5 domains just because I am bragging? The true meaning of the universe domain is that I can evolve all of your domains. If you still can't understand, then I'll explain it more clearly. I alone control 5 domains. Dong Hanzong looked at the three of them with contempt. One person controls 5 domains? When Dong Tianqian and the other two heard this, it was like a bolt from the blue, rumbling in their minds. Qin Fei Yang, Madman, and White-Eyed Wolf's eyes also became heavy. If this matter was true, it meant that Dong Hanzong alone had 5 domains. 5 domains, each domain had a heaven-defying power. With 5 domains gathered on one person, how heaven-defying was that? Next, you guys slowly taste the terror of the universe domain. Dong Hanzong smiled sinisterly. The invincible posture, the immortal body, and the sealing force were all activated. With a monstrous aura, he charged towards the three of them. What kind of joke is this? A single person wielding 5 domains? I don't believe it. Dong Tianqian roared. Dong Xian and Dong Ping also had a look of disbelief. The runes in the domain had all merged into their bodies. At this moment, they no longer had any reservations and all displayed the strongest form of each domain. The so-called strongest form was the fusion of the runes with the body. In this way, even if the domain was accidentally shattered by the opponent in the battle, the ability of the domain would not disappear. In other words, now, they themselves were the domain. Boom. The 4 of them fought together, constantly colliding. Destructive waves surged in all directions. Dong Hanzong had also activated his strongest state. The immortal runes, invincible runes, sealing runes, and star runes were all integrated into his body. Boom. Dong Tianqian and the other two joined forces and blasted his body. His body was shattered, but in the next moment, his broken body was reconstructed. Just like Dong Ping, his combat strength directly soared to a new level. It's really an immortal body. Dong Ping's eyes trembled. Ha ha. Dong Hanzong laughed and threw a punch at Dong Xian. Dong Xian spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. But at the same time, Dong Tianqian seized the opportunity and activated his ultimate profound meaning, crazily attacking Dong Hanzong. However, these ultimate profound meanings that were enough to destroy a piece of heaven and earth blasted on Dong Hanzong's body without causing any damage. Invincible state. Dong Tianqian was stunned. What's wrong? Are you feeling desperate? Dong Hanzong looked at the three of them, and his arrogant laughter echoed throughout the battlefield. Damn, 5 domains in one body. Fortunately, Dong Tianqian and the others helped us scout the way. Otherwise, we would be the ones at a disadvantage. White-Eyed Wolf said with lingering fear, and Frenzy nodded. Who would have thought that Dong Hanzong's strength was so strong? If it were them now, they would definitely suffer a great loss if they were caught off guard. In just a short while, the 4 of them had already exchanged hundreds of rounds. Dong Tianqian and the other 2 were dripping with blood and looked extremely miserable. Dong Xian began to shrink back. However, Dong Ping relied on his undying body while Dong Tianqian relied on his invincible state and the anger in his heart. The more they fought, the braver they became. Looking at the situation, it seems that it won't be easy for Dong Hanzong to defeat them, Qin Feiyang whispered. He was still a little worried at first, but now it seemed that it wasn't a one-sided situation. Putting aside Dong Xian, because her domain ability was different. However, Dong Ping and Dong Tianqin, one had an invincible body while the other had an undying body. If Dong Hanzong wanted to defeat the two of them, he first had to break their invincible body and undying body. However, with Dong Hanzong's strength, he shouldn't be able to break the limit of the invincible body and undying body. No, Dong Hanzong was such a shrewd person, it was impossible for him to not think of this point. However, at this time, Dong Hanzong's face was full of confidence. This meant that he must have other means hidden. Let me see how far your strength has reached, Qin Feiyang murmured. This person would probably become their greatest enemy in the future. Chapter 4267. The collision of the ultimates, the battle between divine power and strength, set off an apocalyptic wave on the battlefield. Fortunately, there were 3,000 clones to seal off this place. Otherwise, it would be a scene of misery and suffering. After all, once experts of this level fought, it would easily destroy the world. However, even with the 3,000 clones, the commotion here had already alarmed many creatures. At this moment, there were many people gathered in the distance, silently watching the battle. Rumble. The battle between the four had already reached its climax. Dong Hanzong was fighting 1 against 3 and was not at a disadvantage at all. The ability of each major domain was displayed vividly and freely. I thought that since you have mastered 5 major domains, you could seriously injure us in one fell swoop and make us lose our combat strength. It turns out that this is all there is to it. I am immortal, unless you have 3,000 clones. At this time, Dong Ping was like a violent beast. As the number of injuries increased, his current combat strength had long surpassed his own limit. It was no exaggeration to say that. Now, the power of his fist could crush the ultimates. That's right. Unless he has 3,000 clones, it is impossible to break the limit of the immortal body, let alone break the limit of my invincible state. Dong Tianqin smiled sinisterly. Although their domains could only last for an hour, Dong Hanzong's domain could also only last for an hour. Right now, Dong Hanzong had 5 major domains and indeed could not do anything to him. However, once the domain's time was up, the 3 of them would definitely win. Because once the time was up, the 4 of them would not have a domain and they would compete with their ultimates. Dong Hanzong had mastered 7 ultimates and was naturally no match for Dong Tianqin and the other two's 21 ultimates. Yes, as long as we can drag this out for an hour, then he will be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. We can trample on him however we want. Dong Xian nodded. Anyway, now is not the time to fight with Dong Hanzong. Trample on me? Hearing the 3's words, Dong Hanzong could not help but laugh. This laughter was full of sarcasm. What are you laughing at? The 3's eyes darkened. I'm laughing at you for being frogs at the bottom of a well. The universe domain can not only evolve your domain, but it can also suppress your domain. Dong Hanzong laughed. What? Suppress our domain? The 3 of them were bewildered. If I say to make your domains disappear, your domains will disappear. Dong Hanzong's domineering aura was unparalleled. He raised his head and pointed at the sky, and suddenly roared, "Shatter for me!" Immediately, streaks of invisible energy surged toward the 3 of them like a tidal wave. This power was magnificent and majestic. There was the undying divine power, the power of invincibility, the power of sealing, and the power of the stars. The power of the 5 domains intertwined, emitting a monstrous pressure that enveloped the 3 of them. Immediately, a horrifying scene appeared. Following the pressure, runes began to appear on Dong Tianqin, Dong Ping, and Dong Xian's bodies. These runes were their immortal runes, invincible runes, and sealing runes. However, those 3 symbols had already fused with their bodies. Yet, at that moment, they were no longer under their control. and were leaving their bodies one after another. What's going on? Dong Tianqin and the other two immediately panicked. I am the Lord of the Five Realms. They dare to be impudent in front of me? Shatter! Dong Hanzong waved his hand. His domineering aura was like that of a ruler. As his voice fell, Dong Tianqin and the other two's runes were shattered. This time, the three of them were completely dumbfounded. How could their runes be shattered so easily? They felt that these runes did not belong to them. Terrifying. I didn't expect Dong Hanzong to be able to suppress Dong Tianqin and the other two's domains so much. Qin Feiyang, the frenzied one, and the white-eyed wolf were also extremely shocked. Sure enough, he still had some amazing tricks up his sleeve. The shattering of the runes meant that the outcome was already decided. This was because Dong Tianqin and the other two could only activate their domains once a day. Once the runes were shattered, their domains would also dissipate. Naturally, they would not be able to activate them again. I don't believe it. This must be an illusion. Dong Tianqin and the other two roared in anger. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Boom. Streaks of ultimates appeared one after another. A total of 21. The will of heaven erupted. As the three waved their hands, 21 streaks of ultimates instantly shattered in all directions and charged toward Dong Hanzong. Do you guys know how weak you are now? Dong Hanzong said contemptuously. They did not dodge. 21 streaks of ultimates bombarded, but when the dust dissipated, Dong Hanzong's body was not injured at all. Invincible posture. The three's domains had dissipated, but his domain was still there. Why is this happening? Dong Tianqin and the other two were dumbfounded. Even if Dong Hanzong could evolve their domains, it was impossible for him to interfere with their domains. Despair. Tremble. Haha. Seal. Dong Hanzong laughed loudly. His blood-red hair fluttered in the wind, making swishing sounds. It was as if a demon god had descended, causing one to tremble. As he waved his hand, the power of the sealed god domain was born and drowned Dong Tianqin and the other two. The three of them immediately felt that whether it was their power, divine power, or law force, all of them were sealed. The domain disappeared, and their power, divine power, and law force were also sealed. Wasn't this equivalent to being trapped in a cage, ready to be slaughtered? In an instant, the three of them were in extreme despair. What the hell is going on? Aren't they the five peerless geniuses of the Central Dynasty? Why are they killing each other? Qin Feiyang, Lunatic, and Golden-Winged Wolf King have become spectators. The surrounding creatures looked at this scene and could not help but reveal a puzzled look. Logically speaking, Dong Hanzong and the other three should have joined forces to deal with Qin Feiyang and the other two. But now, Qin Feiyang and the other two were standing to the side. However, the four of them all had expressions of complete indifference to them and continued to kill one another. It was too strange. Dong Hanzong looked at the three of them with contempt and laughed proudly. You few pieces of trash, now tell me, other than your family background, what else is worthy of being proud of? The three of them clenched their fists. You can't figure it out, right? Dong Hanzong sneered, and the 7 ultimate mysteries instantly appeared, carrying a monstrous, murderous aura as they attacked the three of them. The divine power, and law force of the three of them had been sealed, and they had no power to fight back at all. In the nick of time, a white figure stood in front of them. Qin Feiyang. The three of them were refreshed. It was as if they had seen a life-saving straw. The outcome has been decided. You can leave now. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly as the ultimate mysteries of the law of life and death appeared, and the dual will of the heavens erupted. With just the ultimate mysteries of the law of life and death, he crushed Dong Hanzong's 7 ultimate mysteries as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashed into Dong Hanzong's body with a loud bang. However, even the ultimate mysteries of the law of life and death could not cause the slightest injury to Dong Hanzong. This was the state of being invincible. Absolutely invincible. Dong Tianqin and the other two looked at each other and decisively retreated. Qin Feiyang actually saved them? And Dong Tianqin and the other two seemed to listen to him? What the hell is going on? All of the surrounding living beings were filled with confusion. On the battlefield, Dong Hanzong looked at Qin Feiyang and suddenly reached out to pat his clothes with a contemptuous expression. What he meant was that the ultimate mysteries of the law of life and death, the dual will of the heavens, were not that great. It could not even blow away the dust on his body. Seeing how powerful your Qin Kuan domain is, my hands are itching. Let me have a taste of it. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. As you wish. Dong Hanzong's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he raised his hand and the sealing power surged toward Qin Feiyang. Dodge! Dong Xian shouted. As the controller of the sealed god domain, she knew how terrifying the sealing power was. As long as one was submerged by the sealing power, even if one had heaven-defying means, they would not be able to use it. However, Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear. As the sealing power surged, he also felt that his strength, divine power, and law power were sealed in an instant. No matter how hard he tried, he was unable to break through the sealing power. You actually dare to resist the power of the domain. You are really arrogant. Dong Hanzong sneered. Boom. The 7 ultimate mysteries appeared out of nowhere and mercilessly attacked Qin Feiyang. It is indeed very strong. Qin Feiyang nodded with a smile and took a step forward, calmly avoiding the 7 ultimate mysteries. Although he could not activate the moment of time, with his current cultivation, his speed was not too slow. As long as he could maintain his calm, it was not difficult to avoid the 7 ultimate mysteries. Damn, he's too calm. His strength, divine power, and law power are sealed. But he is not nervous at all. Dong Tianqin and the other 2 were dumbfounded. If it were anyone else, they would have panicked long ago. Once a person panicked, they would lose their sense of propriety and naturally, it would be difficult to avoid the attack of the 7 ultimate mysteries. They were ashamed of their inferiority to such a calm state of mind. However, Qin Feiyang's demeanor fell into Dong Hanzong's eyes, and he could not help but be furious. Because this demeanor felt like he was looking down on him. Swish! He activated the moment of time and took a step forward, slapping Qin Feiyang with his palm. Dong Hanzong's speed after activating instant time was naturally several times faster than Qin Feiyang's current speed. Qin Feiyang didn't dodge and suffered a palm strike on his chest. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Now I will let you see the gap between us. Dong Hanzong grinned. He activated the moment of time to the limit, and it was almost impossible to see his trace as he crazily attacked Qin Feiyang. Even if it is Qin Feiyang facing this person, he can only be beaten up. The peerless genius of the Central Dynasty is indeed powerful. Everyone murmured and looked at Dong Hanzong with fear in their eyes. Because Qin Feiyang's strength was obvious to all. If even Qin Feiyang could not defeat him, then there was almost no one in the Divine Kingdom who could compete with Dong Hanzong. Chapter 4268. Come on. Aren't you very strong? Aren't you the #1 person in the Skycloud realm? Why are you only getting beaten up? Aren't you losing face for the Skycloud realm? Dong Hanzong went crazy. In less than a moment, Qin Feiyang's body was dripping with blood. Son of a bitch, you're too arrogant. The white-eyed wolf was furious. Don't move. Old Qin will have a way. Madman secretly said. When the white-eyed wolf heard this, he suppressed his anger and roared, Little Qin Z, make him shut up. Make me shut up? Then you ask him first, do you have the ability to break the seal? Dong Hanzong sneered. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he took a step back. Wanna leave? Dong Hanzong immediately activated Moment of Time, but in the blink of an eye, he was behind Qin Feiyang and slapped his palm at Qin Feiyang's back. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Qin Feiyang's whole body suddenly smashed into the ground below like a meteorite. Billowing dust and smoke shrouded all directions, and his back was badly mutilated with blood gushing out. Now I'll send you to hell. Dong Hanzong smiled sinisterly. Boom. The 7 ultimate mysteries instantly appeared, carrying the power to destroy the world, shattering the void and the earth as it blasted forward. then I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded in the dust. The next moment, accompanied by a dragon's roar, a purple-gold dragon soul appeared out of thin air. Eye of Heaven, open. Around Qin Feiyang, the outline of a domain gradually emerged, but the speed was very slow. It was similar to copying the ultimate mysteries. Qin Feiyang frowned, and a time array appeared under his feet. This was the advantage of mastering the law of time, being able to set up a time array at any time. As soon as the time array appeared, the law of time in the place where Qin Feiyang was located suddenly became different. Almost in the next moment, the domain around his body completely solidified. It was the sealed God domain. Numerous sealing runes flashed with dazzling divine light. What? The Eye of Heaven can actually replicate the God Seal domain? Dong Xian was stunned. Dong Hanzong's eyes trembled. It could even replicate the God Seal domain. The Eye of Heaven was indeed worthy of being one of the 10 strongest battle souls. Seal. Qin Feiyang raised his arm and pointed a finger at the sky. A formless sealing force surged toward Dong Hanzong. Dong Hanzong's God force, physical strength, and law energy were sealed on the spot. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang took a step forward, dodging the 7 ultimate profoundness and arriving in front of Dong Hanzong in a single step, punching out. Both of them had their power, God power, and magical laws sealed. Therefore, their strength was relatively low. Rumble. Bang. Bang. A hand-to-hand battle began. Even though their strength had been sealed, their fists were still as hard as steel, and ear-piercing metallic sounds could be heard when they collided. So what if you can replicate the apotheosis domain? I still have the undying domain and the invincible domain. I am invincible. Relying on the undying domain and the invincible domain, Dong Hanzong risked his life against Qin Feiyang at all costs. It could be said that he had sacrificed 800 to kill 1,000 enemies. Is that so? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. That's right. Dong Hanzong grinned. But before his voice died away, the smile on his face froze. A time array appeared under Qin Feiyang's feet again, and 2 domains appeared around him. It was the God-slaying domain and the undying domain. It can replicate both? Dong Tianqin and Dong Ping's expressions froze. The Eye of Heaven was simply a scoundrel. No matter how strong one's technique was, it could replicate it. Most importantly, generally speaking, replicas were definitely inferior to the original. However, the replicas produced by the Eye of Heaven were not inferior to the original at all. What's the point of doing this? Seeing all of his techniques being copied by Qin Feiyang, Dong Hanzong roared in anger out of humiliation. This is my technique. It's also my ability. If you have the ability, why don't you replicate it for me to see? Qin Feiyang smiled playfully and landed in front of Dong Hanzong with a big stride, punching towards Dong Hanzong's lower abdomen. But it was useless. The invincible stance and the undying body were simply unbreakable. But now, Dong Hanzong was unable to hurt Qin Feiyang. Because Qin Feiyang had also activated the undying body and the invincible stance. Moreover, because of the sealing power, no matter how strong their combat strength became, they were unable to unleash it. The battle was in a stalemate. Neither of them could do anything to each other. However, in contrast, Dong Hanzong was even more anxious. Because the domain had a time limit. When the time was up, his Qinkuan domain would collapse, which was equivalent to losing his strongest trump card. But Qin Feiyang was different. The domain was just something that he had replicated. Losing it would not cause him any loss. At that time, the ultimate profound of the law of life and death, the dual will of the heavenly Tao, Dong Hanzong did not have a domain, so he could not block it at all. Therefore, Qin Feiyang was not afraid of dragging it out. Time passed bit by bit. Seeing that half an hour had passed, Dong Hanzong said in a deep voice, "Close the sealed God domain and fight fair and square." Sure. Qin Feiyang nodded his head. Fighting like this was indeed a bit stifling, because he clearly had a set of heaven-defying methods, but he was unable to unleash them. It felt as if his hands were tied. The two of them retracted the sealing power at the same time. Boom. In the next moment, The terrifying power of law roared out. Now is the time. Inverse the universe. Dong Hanzong laughed sinisterly. Qin Feiyang's 7 ultimate mysteries immediately turned in the air and charged towards Qin Feiyang. So that's your plan. Qin Feiyang nodded his head in realization. This inverse the universe was indeed very powerful. It could almost be said to be an invincible existence, because you had no way to break it. Just like Boss Ji and the others, they were all very strong. But so what if they were strong? Facing inverse the universe, all of your profound laws would be controlled by the other party. Even when facing Dong Hanzong, you wouldn't dare to activate your profound laws. Without the Eye of Heaven, Qin Feiyang wouldn't be able to do anything. However, in this world, there were no ifs. When the time array was activated, the Eye of Heaven once again showed its power and instantly replicated the universe domain. Inverse the universe. As Qin Feiyang spoke, the ultimate mysteries that were charging towards Dong Hanzong immediately turned in the air and charged towards him. Even my universe domain can be replicated? Dong Hanzong's expression froze. What the hell is this? Everything can be replicated. How can one fight? This is too shameless. With this Eye of Heaven, no matter who he is facing, Qin Feiyang will definitely be in an invincible position. I have never seen such a shameless way of fighting, Dong Ping muttered. Yeah, you still want to kill him? We are simply looking for a beating. Dong Xian's heart was bitter. Last time, she fought with the white-eyed wolf. Dong Ping also fought with Lunatic. Although Dong Tianqian had fought with Qin Feiyang before, it was only an avatar. So, for the three of them, this was the first time they saw Qin Feiyang personally take action. This was also the first time, but it was already an eye-opener for them. It turned out that this was Qin Feiyang's strength. It was indeed heaven-defying. Did you see that? So what if he is an unparalleled genius of the Central Dynasty? He is still suppressed by Qin Feiyang. In the west, on a mountain peak, the monarch said with a proud smile. Next to him, the divine king, the sovereign of the human race, couldn't help but roll his eyes when he heard this. Cough, cough. Father, keep a low profile, keep a low profile. Heavenly Lord Ji was also there, and he said somewhat awkwardly. He felt that his father now was like a parent who compared children with others. With such an outstanding descendant, why keep a low profile? Don't you feel gratified? The king glared at him. Gratified, gratified. Heavenly Lord Ji nodded repeatedly with a helpless expression. Don't flatter yourself. What does it have to do with you? The divine king looked at him with disdain. Just be envious. Of course, you can only be envious now. The king didn't take the divine king's mockery to heart at all, and his face was full of pride. The divine king's face darkened. To be honest, he was a little envious. But there was no need to be so smug, right? Divine king, please understand him. After all, there is nothing else in his life that can make him proud. The sovereign of the human race laughed. That's true. The divine king nodded. Sovereign, what do you mean by that? How many things can make me proud in my life? Heavenly Lord and Tianyue, which one of them doesn't make me proud? The king said angrily. Father, what are you talking about? My achievements are not worth mentioning at all. Hearing his father praising him in front of the divine king and the sovereign of the human race, Heavenly Lord Ji was still a little uncomfortable. I'm telling the truth. The king smiled proudly. Yes, the siblings are indeed outstanding. But what about that grandson of yours? Compared to your grandson, Qin Batian, he seems a little. The divine king looked at the king with ridicule in his eyes. The king's expression stiffened as he glared at Heavenly Lord Ji and snorted coldly. I can only say that someone didn't teach his son well. Hearing this, Heavenly Lord Ji felt very wronged. Who did I offend? Why did I scold him for no reason? Didn't you teach your son well? Why don't you say gene mutation? Besides, compared to his peers, his son was not bad, but compared to people like Qin Feiyang, he was much worse. But the key point was, in this world, how many people could be compared to people like Qin Feiyang, Frenzy, Golden Wing Wolf King, and Dong Hanzong? On the battlefield, the battle became more and more intense. Terrifying fluctuations swept out in all directions like raging waves in the ocean. This time, Qin Feiyang was in the most difficult battle. Although his 7 ultimate intents were stronger than Dong Hanzong's 7 ultimate intents, he couldn't do anything to Dong Hanzong because of the stellar transposition, immortal body, and invincible state. Could it be that he could only defeat Dong Hanzong by dragging on for an hour? All of you, back off. All of a sudden, he looked at Frenzy and the others and roared. 3,000 clones charged over, and various ultimate intents appeared. In the blink of an eye, the sky above was filled with ultimate intents, densely packed and mighty. It's useless. Reverse the universe. Dong Hanzong sneered. A total of 21,000 ultimate intents were all controlled by Dong Hanzong in an instant and charged toward Qin Feiyang and his 3,000 clones. He can control so many ultimate intents. Is there no limit to the universe domain? Qin Feiyang couldn't calm down. It seemed that he could only drag on for an hour to end this battle. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.